Blackline Brief starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening. It's earlier than normal. Welcome to another episode of the Blackline Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and today I have a good show for you. I think I'm uniquely placed to have a bird's eye view of all the different people that seem to simultaneously be attacking Candace Owens. None of them really had anything to say about her before Charlie was assassinated. Jeremy Boring and like Ben Shapiro, okay, those guys always did. However, everyone else seems to have come on to the I hate Candace Owens boat since 9/10. And what is the common thread between all of these independent podcasters or whatever you want to call them, influencers, independent journalists? I don't know. I'll never label myself that. Even if somebody may consider themselves an independent journalist, like, I don't know, like I'm not. We just have a show. We just have like a podcast show. And yeah, like we cover things. But I don't know. I just find that to be funny when everyone starts to call themselves independent journalists. Journalists. Whatever you want to call them. They all have something in common. They're all connected to TPUSA. All of them. All of them. They all end up on the show. The show ends up covering them, quoting them, using them, vice versa. The connections are in broad daylight. Like there's no hiding the connection between, Gary Melton and TPUSA and Andrew Wilson and TPUSA and Chicks on the Right in TPUSA, Graham Allen, Benny Johnson, Brandon Tatum. Well, Jack Posobiec works for them. So, and then, obviously Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, and Erica Kirk. But then Dana Loesch. I guess there's a couple that may not. So one that has now really hit my radar is this Josh Carr kid. Going back through his, YouTube video library, you see, it's so clear how much this guy doesn't like Candace Owens. I would even venture to use the word hates, despises, and then, another one that I see all the time covering it, but she's connected to Israel. Okay. She's like always got Josh Hammer on and Rabbi Wolicki, and that's Aaron Milan from Australia. So maybe a couple 2 degrees of separation there, but she's always defending TPUSA and Erica Kirk and attacking Candace Owens. I don't see any direct connection with her in TPUSA, but there is a whole brand new Australia TPUSA thing starting out there. And I can't wait to talk with more of my Aussie friends as that starts to come, starts to really take shape and see if this connection with Air Milan, is what I think it is, whether it's through like Salem Media. She's totally a shill for Israel in this administration, which is insane. And everyone that seems to be doing that these days is connected to TPUSA because that's what TPUSA is doing. I forgot to add in there like Viva Fry. He's doing it. Brandon Straka, Alex Jones, Harrison Smith. All of these people seem to, I don't know, man, really have an issue with what Candace Owens is doing. And the only connection I can see is that they are like white knighting for this administration and for TPUSA. And maybe they don't have direct financial ties to them right now. But even like what I said with like Andrew Wilson is that I think he was an opportunist. Maybe there was a relationship that transpired, sought out by TPUSA before we really saw him come onto the scene. Maybe that's possible for sure. I'm open to that. But it's also possible that this, scumbag saw an opportunity that he was uniquely placed to fill that void and to take advantage of a situation, offer a solution to a problem, fix something that was a thorn in their side for the last 11 months, be it Candace Owens, unmatched in her reach, impact, influence, and skill, articulation, intelligence, her charisma. He doesn't have any of those things, obviously, but none of the people that they push out there, meaning like TPUSA, none of the people that they've put out there to defend them and push the Tyler Robinson FedSlop narrative comes even close, to what Candace Owens does every day. But really, so going back to what I said, I feel like I'm uniquely placed to see this because if you guys remember, and I've said this before, back when, podcasting was mainly on Spotify. Yes, YouTube was there, but it wasn't what it is today. I don't remember the time frame, but let's just say back when most people still got the majority of their news from cable news networks. If you remember the different compilations that people had done at different times where they can pick a local and a national news station, from all over the United States, just like from each state, boom, and put a compilation together of the local stories and then the national stories that they were covering. It's like verbatim. Like, remember, it's like word for word. These scripts were coming down. These bullet points and talking points were coming down from on high, being handed to them to force feed the public the same exact news story. And I got to say, it's happening. It's happening with the Tyler Robinson case. It's happening with the war in Iran. It's happening with Israel. It's happening with TPUSA. And it's for sure happening with Candace Owens. I can tune in to any one of these people on any given day where there's a story about Candace, right? Or, I mean, it doesn't even have to be about that. They're tying all of these things together, right? So one of the things that's going on right now is that they're all coming out and saying that Candace is a closet liberal. She is masquerading as a conservative. She's not truly Catholic. She was faking it the entire time. And that they're saying that she's connected to Enough America, Act Blue, and that her and, I always mess up JT because that's the stupid dude that Erica dated. Thomas Massey and, Tucker Carlson, that they are Trojan horsing democratic liberal ideals and principles into this third party, right? If you go listen to any of them on any given day, and Tim Pool's in there too, and more will come to my mind as I'm talking. They're all pushing the same thing, right? And then now they're connecting the what's her name, the Clancy case. Everybody that's supposedly defending Clancy is also defending Tyler Robinson and is also part of the wino mom Candace cult. No. Nope. It's my personal opinion. That mom, the Clancy lady, is evil. I don't care. Don't care. Sorry. Postpartum is real. Yep. So is mental illness. Yep. Doesn't matter. There is nothing that can excuse what that lady did. And nothing that will make me feel bad for her. Nope. Sorry. Not sorry. Nope. Check yourself in somewhere. Okay. Go turn yourself in for homicidal ideations. Okay. 5150 yourself. Okay. And then out here blaming it or allowing it to be blamed on the doctors, taking that as your defense. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here because that really pisses me off. None of us are defending that lady. No one in this community that I know, because I wouldn't. I'm not okay with that. I'm not. And I haven't seen Candace Owens defend that lady, not once. She hasn't even, in my opinion, I haven't seen her weigh in on it at all. But I also would love today to be a back and forth conversation with everyone on different things on, what you guys have seen as well. I got things pulled up and I can we can go through different videos that I have pulled up and that's, what I have planned and we can do that. But I'd also just love your guys' take on things because to me, it's like so obvious. It's so obvious. And if they are trying so hard to silence her, and when you're not able to silence someone in this day and age because like she has her own platform, like she's streaming from her house, it is hard to silence people when they have the complete and total means of production of their own show. She doesn't have any board of directors that she's accountable to. She's not taking money from any advertisers that seek to silence her and that seek to control her. That's what the Daily Wire tried to do. She said, go fly a kite. Peace out. Kick rocks. Later, go ride your midget horse off into the sunset, Benji. Just don't fly away with your freaking caterpillar eyebrows, okay? It's much harder to like physically like get someone's channel taken down or just silence them. So the other approaches are kind of what we've seen, not just with Candace Owens, but with Tucker Carlson and what was happening to Charlie Kirk. Okay. You can slander someone. You can label them something. And even with, I forget who you were listening to the other day. It was either Andrew Colvett or Andrew Wilson. And they're like, that's a tactic. Once you label, I think it was Andrew Wilson. Yeah, it was Andrew Wilson with Brian Atlas. Once you label someone a Nazi or an anti-Semite or a racist, then you can justify doing anything to them. The tactics are there for everyone to see what they're doing to Candace Owens. And I mean, I think with such a big case, the case against Tyler Robinson, like this trial, not only was the assassination of Charlie Kirk, literally, no pun intended, a turning point for the United States. I think it was for the world. It was a watershed moment. The scales fell off the eyes. And most of us, maybe some, had already become somewhat awake, somewhat aware of a lot of the things that all of us are fully awake and aware on now. But for sure, for those of us that were late to the awareness party, Charlie Kirk's assassination and what they've done since 9/10 woke us all up. It became so obvious. It's undeniable what they've been doing. And now, like, we look back in the past with this fresh set of eyes, and we were like, whoa, holy smokes. It's not that this, and I know that we knew that about like 9/11, and we knew that about JFK, and we knew that about the USS Liberty and Pearl Harbor and Gulf of Tonkin, and like, what's the other one? Paperclip, like the different ones that they've lied to us on over the years. And there's more. There's many more. So that was not an exhaustive list. But yet we can look back and still see, even with a clearer set of eyes, like this has always been the tactic. It's just that the weapon, the medium in which they're, manipulating and controlling us has changed and evolved over time as the technology has changed and evolved over time. Knowing that the majority of people, well, I don't know, I haven't seen the stats, but I would just say the majority of people that aren't boomers and I know I have boomers here and we love you, but there's still a large set of boomers that aren't on here, that they are still getting their news from CNN, CBS, Fox, but all those networks saw the trend happening. That as the next generation arose, right, to take over the boomers' place within that 40 to 50-year-old, 30 to 50-year-old, slot, the majority of us are not consuming our news through mainstream news anymore. Like completely have lost all credibility and trust. And I guess that's true to about all major institutions that our parents trusted the majority of their lives. Maybe some didn't trust some of these institutions periodically, but for the most part, the trust in these institutions remained. And yes, there's always a subset of citizens that is just always skeptical of everything, and we're totally awake and aware the whole time. And everyone called them a conspiracy theorist and a nutbag, and to go put on their tinfoil hat. And we feel bad for those guys because they were the first ones to the party while we were all still calling them crazy. I mean, I never did, but I know that it happened. But you got to agree that there had to have come a point where they realized, like, the writing's on the wall. They're not coming back to mainstream news. You can't, there'd be no way to restore the trust that had been broken with all the younger generations, where people would be willingly going back and consuming news in on cable news and on mainstream news. And so I think it's just obvious in any focus group, any board meeting, that they'd be like, we need to start putting all of our time, money, energy, and efforts over here. That's the future. And I think that's clearly obvious. Like, if you guys remember what Bibi Netanyahu said, right? He's like, this is the new battleground, right? This is the new war. All the different social media platforms, X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, whatever, you name it, it's there. That is the future of propaganda, of psyops, of manipulation, narrative control, fake news, because it's also the place where there are genuine people wanting to report honestly and factually the news. And so you can't just leave that to the honest and factual people. No way. You got to get out there. I mean, in their mind, I don't agree with it, obviously, but like, these are the elites. And like, this argument that we're not at war with the elites. Hello, McFly. Has that not been the battle since time began? It has always been the battle. Name a time in history when that has not been the battle. Those who have the most, those who control all the power and the levers of power, they have most of all the wealth. They want more of it because they're outnumbered. And people that are afraid to lose all of their comfort and control, well, they collaborate. They plan. They scheme in secret rooms with secret handshakes, secret dealings, like John F. Kennedy said. Because it's not good enough to just have it now. You want to ensure that your kids have it, your kids' kids have it, generations to come, that power and control stays within the family or the selected families that are allowed to be part of these groups. And out of fear and, out of that, not just fear, but despising us, really, believing that we are less than them. These people that control and have controlled the world through respective governments and intel agencies and you know, heads of state and monarchs believe that they're set apart. They're different. Their bloodline is different. That's why most of them keep it in the family. That's why one of the whole lines of the Rothschilds died out. I think it was the Italian, I forget which one it was. They just completely died out. That's what happens when you marry your cousin and your cousin and your cousin. You just keep marrying within the family. You gotta keep that wealth and money all within the family. I mean, like, look at all of these, even the politicians here in the United States, like Newsom and Pelosi, or not Pelosi. Yeah, no, Pelosi. Pelosi. That's not the Alaskan girl, right? No, that is. No, that's Palin. Yeah, Pelosi, the crazy lady that just hits home runs out of the stock market ballpark all the time. Her and her husband. These people are all related, and even if the ones that aren't related, they're all connected to one another. And even behind them, there's even more elite. These are just the people that they put out in front of us that aren't even the real people that control everything. Right? There's levels and layers even within the elite circles, which is insane, right? To us, we look at a lot of these people as mega rich, but there's families that like never make it in the news. The Rothschilds, right? And many others. Look back at like the Warburgs. And I mean, it just, these families all around the world seek to continue to control, manipulate, and enslave all of us. And any time in history when there seems to be a shift in that power, things get ramped up. And I really do believe that Charlie Kirk's assassination was like a catalyst for that. Not just here, it affected people all over the world. You go to an X space, we have people in here that are not even Americans. And yet, watching what happened to Charlie, finding out what was going on in his life leading up to the assassination, seeing how TPUSA and Erica Kirk has handled everything and all the things that they've said and done, everything that this administration was doing before his assassination, but then really ramped up after, which I cannot unsee that as a connected through point, that they realized they had to take Charlie out before they did all of these next things, because Charlie would have been a thorn in their side. Oh, boy, would he have caused problems for them if they had announced that they were actually going to take out the Ayatollah and do regime change. Charlie warned all of his community and his members and his audience and his friends and his coworkers that not a good idea. Not a good idea. Don't do that. We should not get involved in regime change in Iran. Nope. No foreign wars. No forever wars and quagmires in the Middle East. No, no, no. Nope. Nope. Don't let Israel drag us into anything, Trump. Let BB handle BB. That's not our problem. Should we take Greenland? No. Should we take Venezuela? No. If Charlie was around for all these things, sounding the alarm, and I honestly believe that he would have come to the conclusion that I've come to, that J.D. Vance and Trump and this administration are all controlled, whether that be through through bribery, blackmail, threats, some way, shape, or form. They've been, and it could have even happened before. You know, I'm even thinking that this whole thing, even from 2016, was all a ploy, all of it, and it always has been, because the rich and powerful don't plan in years. They plan in decades and generations. That's one of the hallmarks of these secret societies and secret dealings. And they plan so far in advance that we can't, that for in the past at least, we haven't even been able to even comprehend how long some of these things were in the works before it happened. I mean, looking back at 9/11, like that was in the works for a long time, guys. The other thing that I've come to believe is that at some point in time, you know, whatever administration was in power at the time, I don't know which one was the first one. I don't know when this began, but they realized as they capitalized on a crisis, let's just say it was a natural one, right? An organic, I don't know, something happened in the United States. That administration took advantage of that crisis, not letting it go to waste, and they controlled the narrative and they used it to benefit their aim, their goal. But then they realized, man, that's a long time in between crises to wait to be able to do that. Look at the success that we've had capitalizing on these organic crises as they happen. Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't wouldn't it be more prudent if we just started creating them? We just make them happen from start to finish. And if you guys have heard of the Hegelian dialectic, which is problem action, or it's what is it? Problem reaction solution, right? That I believe that it's just a natural, logical step for these people that don't see us as equals, see us as slaves and, you know, things that need to be controlled. They don't believe that we're smart enough to vote for those that lead us, that they would naturally have come to the conclusion like, screw waiting for some sort of event or crisis to happen that we can leverage for our end, our goal. Let's just start making them happen, start to finish. We create the crisis, we manage the reaction, and then we offer the solution, which then drives everyone right where we want them to go. And I believe that they've gotten so good at it that even when it seems to be going bad, like this whole Charlie Kirk thing, right? It seems like this is the most rushed, poor planned assassination, psyop, government ran, op ever. It hasn't escaped me that this might actually be part of their plan. I just can't see why yet. Why would they want it to go this way? And I've speculated on the different possibilities, but I've been like, holy smokes, there's so many of like, yeah, and even it could even just be explained that they rushed it, but I mean, and that they're like behind the eight ball and they're, improvising, they're calling audibles on the play. I don't know. I kind of think that we don't know what's around the corner. So we're looking at the present, like through the lens of the past, trying to gain some sort of insight of what's coming down the pike, but we don't know what they have planned and what new trick or ploy they have around the corner for us. So, man, I don't know. Hopefully, you guys understand what I'm saying. You guys picking up what I'm laying down? Let's see. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much for the gift, Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay. Granny loves Jesus. Love my surfer for truth. Will rewatch later. going out. It's all about the Greater Philly plan. Yeah, the Greater Israel Project. Yep. Plan that Bibi started with Clinton. Clinton 7 me or 7 ME Iran last one. Oh, 7 major yeah, like that they had planned to like go into all of the 7 countries in the Middle East. Yeah, 7 Middle East countries, and Iran was like the last one to be toppled. Charlie Kirk was a problem. Boy, was he ever. Boy, was he ever. Sorry, I look shiny. I'm so shiny. You guys remember that from what was it, from Moana? You guys, I had daughters when all that. I have daughters, but I mean, like they were young when all that came out. So yes, I know how that song goes. Don't hate me for it. All right, let me pull some things up. Well, all right. Getting back to the main topic at hand is, and Barron covered it yesterday. And sorry for kind of going an hour early. I know I put in the link was 5 p.m. I didn't know what time Barron was going to end. Actually, I didn't even know he was live because like I looked on his channel, and I mean it didn't say he had a live, but then I clicked and it had members only live, and I was like, oh man, it's hard to compete with an audience of 30,000. I want to maximize the ability of everyone to be here and to partake in the community. And yeah, what up, Max Frost? Sent you an email. Yeah, I got it. The Alex Viva link. I got it. Yeah. Thank you. That's hopefully you understand what the thumbnail is, right? That's going to be part of what we're covering today. What they couldn't do to Charlie, right? Because Charlie was, I guess, in the public's eyes, I guess one of them, you know? That's why people are like, well, why couldn't they, like, why did they have to kill him, right? Well, they wouldn't get away doing to Charlie what they did to Tucker and Candace. You can't lie to the public about Charlie Kirk, right? And say, like, I mean, people were trying to say he was an anti-Semite. Nobody believed it. It didn't really take hold, right? Like, no one was like really like, oh my gosh, he is. People were like, are you kidding me? But to like call him demonic, to call him insane, to say he's a liar, to say he's engaging in propaganda and misinformation, to say he's only in it for the clicks and the money and the clout and the views. All of the tactics that they're using to discredit Candace and Tucker and anyone else on this side that doesn't believe the official narrative, that opposes the war in Iran, that would not have worked. That tactic would not have worked against Charlie. Am I wrong? It wouldn't have worked. The public would have been like, no. I think that they realized they had 2 options. They had to get him to willingly come to their side and remain on their side, regardless of what happened, or they had to make him disappear. I wonder sometimes if at the Hamptons, on one of the phone calls with Trump or with Bibi, or when Charlie went to the White House, if they had a moment of putting all the cards on the table, right? Like where they offer him the offer, but they completely inform him on what he would have to go along with. Because the only way that they could be sure that he wouldn't flip on them is they would have to lay all the cards on the table. Because the only way to know how he really would respond to regime change, war in Iran, Israel merging with their military, merging with our military. I mean, just all the things, name it. The list goes on. the only way to really know if Charlie would be down for that and wouldn't just veer off course in any moment, I think, in my opinion, like they would have had to have a come to Jesus moment with him and been like, here, this is what we're going to offer you. It's going to be a sweet deal, but this is what we're doing. You good? They would have ran too much of a risk the other way, where they're just saying like, hey, you got to be down for the ride. Here's what we're going to give you. And then no matter what happens in the future, you just do what we tell you. There's a lot of unknowns there. There's a lot of curveballs there that I just don't think a lot of these individuals ever take the risk at chances of the unknowns, right? And that I think they would have had to level with him and been like, this is what's happening. This is the whole goal of this presidency. Maybe even an extended presidency, depending on how things go. You know, they floated that idea. Miriam Adelson, BB, Mark Levin, all these guys. The sickos, man. You know, in a time of war, you can disband elections, right? You can you can do all sorts of things. But that Charlie would have had to have been filled in on all of it so that he knew what he was agreeing to, because he could just gone rogue if they tried to tell him in the moment, like, hey, this is happening today. You got to go along with it. And I think that he would have said no. I think it would have said, no, I'm good. So I don't think that, even though all we've heard about that conversation with BB at the Hamptons was BB called and offered to take TPUSA to the next level. Remember, like, that's all the sources have let Candace know about. But I doubt, like, I doubt that the conversation was a minute. Hey, Charlie, this is BB. I'm going to offer you 180 million to take TPUSA to the next level. You game? He goes, no, click. No, I don't believe that it happened like that. And I believe that Trump would have had a similar, much longer form conversation with him about what he needed to do. Like, remember when Trump called Charlie and told him to stop Candace Owens from, the whole Brigitte Macron's got a little wee thing? For a free speech absolutist, which Charlie was, and a friend of Candace Owens, which Charlie was to the very end, I got to say he probably pushed back there. I mean, from what we know, he didn't actually ask Candace to stop. He actually just told her that it happened. He didn't ask her to stop doing it. He just said, hey, you won't believe what they just asked me to do. So I believe that these conversations that, would have been with BB, would have been with Trump and JD Vance, would have been much more in-depth, longer form, and that Charlie would have known exactly what he was saying no to. Because either way, right? If either way, when he says no, they take him out regardless. So they don't really run a big risk of letting him know things as long as they take him out ASAP. And then they have him under watch the entire time. I don't know. This is my personal opinion. But anyway, so Charlie alive, they would not have been able to do what they do to Candace Owens. Okay. The tactics wouldn't have been the same. And that's why they had to take him out. Well, Charlie's gone now. Well, now all of the power and the structures that Charlie was battling with until up into the time he was murdered, all of that's now coalesced and it's all unified now that he's gone, because TPUSA was the only thing that was outside of their reach. Part of it was inside their reach for many years, but not at the end. Charlie was clearly leaving. He was clearly going a different direction. But then after his assassination, it came back into their control. And now all of that is being directed at Candace Owens. Like all of it. And Tucker, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene and Joe Kent and Thomas Massey. But more of what I see on the daily online is all mainly directed at Candace Owens. And many of these people all have connections back to this administration, the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, Graham Allen, like this is a government ran operation. And we'll look at a piece where I found from, I think it was yesterday's stream with Baron Coleman. He found that's exactly what it is. And I think we all know that too, right? We saw the rapid response task force set up responding to Candace Owens' claims and tweets. They responded to her allegations that when she asked for, she filed a FOIA request regarding the White House Correspondents' Dinner, fiasco and Erica Kirk. They denied her because they said her request was too broad. And then she was like, my request was very specific. And they go back and forth with her online. It's like, I didn't know that was, that's the job of the FBI and the DOJ and Department of War, is to go back and forth with a private citizen about posts that and their own independent online investigation they're doing. It's interesting, but we're in unprecedented times where independent people aren't really independent. And that's why when you watch people and you listen to the things that they say, I mean, look at Dana Loesch and Laura Loomer and all of these people. You tune in on any given day, they're all saying the same thing. They're going to say the same thing about Israel, the same thing about the war in Iran. They're all saying the same thing about Trump and JD Vance and oh my gosh, he's doing amazing. He could do no wrong. Charlie Kirk was murdered by a crazy trans furry leftist, from the Losi Center with a 30-06. They're all pushing the same narratives. That just doesn't happen. Like a group of people, that's my opinion, don't all independently, organically hold not similar, but the exact same positions as all the rest and say the exact same things on any given day. So, all right, let me get to some of these chats and then we're going to get into it. I know that was a lot longer than it was supposed to be. That was me just off the head. Please do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like and subscribe as you get in here. It's the best way to help support the channel, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. What do we got? Okay, to clarify, sent response today to your email from yesterday asking if Alex and Viva was just on X, sent you the Rumble link for it. Yeah, no, I got it. I was able to find, I got the Rumble link for the Alex Jones and Viva Fry, and then I have the War Room link for Harrison Smith and Brandon Straka. Okay, I got it. Thank you very much, and thank you for the gift. All right, one of the things that just popped up on my thing that I was coming in here. Okay, well, also, real quick. There's so much that happens on any given day that depending on how the live goes, like yesterday, I didn't even get to a lot of the things that I wanted to cover, but it actually feeds into today's episode, right? And so I don't know if you guys saw the Spencer Pratt, professionally done video that he did. And I do agree that people like Hassan Piker, and I mean, just because I'm not buying into the left versus right false, paradigm, I do still believe that there are legitimately really, really insane, radical, crazy leftists, just like there's equally insane, radical, crazy far-right extremists that are basically, in my opinion, all of the Zionists and the shills for Israel that are bloodthirsty and war hungry. So those exist. They exist in the elite circles of those running those respected camps, but there's everyday citizens that actually are in those camps. And I do know that. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that there isn't really, really dangerous and bad leftist ideals that seek to destroy and erode our country. 100%. Charlie, I think, in my opinion, genuinely felt up until the time that he died that the left was one of our biggest problems. I think one of the things that became increasingly more aware, like more clear to him, and that he really started to focus on was that, whoa, Israel is a really big problem. And then as he started to like look into that, he's like, whoa, there's connections actually, because I think Israel is funding the extreme left and the extreme right, because both extremes push us all into the same direction of control and enslavement. They use different tactics and approaches based on which administration is in and which crazy leftist citizen they can use and which crazy extremist right-wing citizen they can use, because people are willing to be brainwashed. Some people sadly willingly walk themselves into extreme, ideals, opinions, positions, and choices that they end up, acting out because of those beliefs. But it's my opinion that this uniparty, and like, just go look at all the AIPAC money. It goes to both sides, right? Charlie was like, the left is Antifa and it's the crazy Bolshevik, Jewish false. Yeah, I forget what that email said, but I agree that, and I mean, Charlie did talk about this, that a lot of the funding into these extreme, leftist universities and looking at all the major metropolitan cities with the different laws that get passed, right? Like every major metropolitan city is just completely democratic and liberal. The main ones, okay? And that a lot of the funding that, and because of the different laws that we have, that like people's money is speech, and corporations are people and their money is allowed to be used as a form of speech, that very wealthy and influential people, which there's just a high percentage of which these individuals are Jewish. Yes, others are too that are not Jewish, but there's also a high percentage of these individuals that are. And that they use their money because they want to have more money and more power and more control. And so depending on whatever administration is in at the time, that's what it goes to. But nonetheless, I do believe that Charlie believed that the crazy radical left was one of the biggest problems facing this country, especially with its destruction of, erosion of Orthodox Christian values, the nuclear family, what it was doing to our children, freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, all of it. But I think that he also was very aware that there were these neocons on the far right that were equally as psychotic and dangerous. He did not like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham. And so, and what I see behind all of those different, on both sides, the through thread, in my opinion, are all of the elites, all of the wealthy individuals, and Israel. And I think it's been like that for a long time, since the inception of the creation of the nation of Israel. And I think it started all the way back in 1901, because the planning and preparation was 40 something years in the making before the nation of Israel was finally created after World War II. And that was like, I mean, the World War II and the end of it, and the world that everyone woke up in after, was the beginning of the next 80 years. And now here we are today in 2026. And it's like we're going through another one of these moments, these major transitions where none of this is happening by accident. All of this is being, managed and manufactured and controlled, and it's been planned for a very, very long time. So We all need to stick together. And when we see them attacking people that, in my opinion, are genuinely honest, authentic, transparent, one of us, and they're attacking them and defaming them and trying to discredit them and get a lot of people to just stop listening to them, we just have to say no, not going to do it. And we all got to do our part. Everyone can do their part in a different way. I'm not telling everyone they need to go start a channel or create an X account. But we all have to say, not today, Satan. Get behind me, Satan. Not today. So, all right. That's why, I mean, if any of you guys were there watching Zach Costello today, he got really passionate. And I agree. I was in there being like, I agree 100%. Enough is enough. All right. Let's see. Oh, what up, Zamet? Candace Owens, Time Magazine, Person of the Year 2026. Yeah, I mean, what do you bet, though? It's going to be like Bibi Netanyahu, Laura Loomer, Donald J. Trump. Who's another one? Oh, I don't know. Can you guys, that would be a funny poll. Let's do like a real poll. Who do you actually think they're going to choose for Time Magazine's Person of the Year? And give me 3 options in the live chat that I can throw up in a poll and see who everyone votes on. Okay. Oh, Erica Kirk. That's a good one. Yep. Who else? Okay. Erica Trump. Wait, Barron Trump. Okay. I mean, but honestly, we don't see enough of Barron. Like, he's not in the news. Like, I get that I don't think that they're going to try to vote him as a Person of the Year for 2026. He hasn't done anything. Erica, I can see. Oh, Dolly. Well, she just passed away. Blake Neff. Okay. BB, JD, Elon. Well, Candace is who we want to win. They're not going to pick her, though. So, I mean, like, that could be a totally different poll. Like, I agree that, like, Candace would be one of the top, right? Oh, they might have been. Okay, I'll just do it. Ready? I'm just going to make one. Give me a second. Why is this not? Oh, I got to hit refresh. Give me a second. Let me put the poll in. Start a poll. What was another one? No, it's not going to be Andrew Wilson. Hold on. Okay, it only lets me do 4 options. So this is the best that I can do right now. All right. It doesn't let me do more than that. All right. The question is, who do we think they will choose to do it for? Not who do we think should it be? Obviously, I don't think any of these people should be up there. But this is, who do we think they're going to try to tell us is Person of the Year? All right. Hey, Boomer here. My husband and I got away from the Fed slop. Good for you. We were Fox News viewers, and I shut it down because I saw what they were doing. Now we're here with you and others that are telling the truth. That's awesome. I actually have so many questions for you. What was it that made you what made it that what opened your eyes? Was it couldn't have just been the assassination. Was it their response to the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Like what they were saying after the assassination about Tyler Robinson, or did it start back about Jeffy Epi or the war in Iran? Like, I'm very curious. And was it you by yourself? And then you got your husband to get on board and like you explained it to him and then he did it? Or like, was he like part of that evolution with you the entire time? I'm like very curious about that. And thank God. Welcome. And one of the other things that I'm going to be doing, guys, like, let's see if I could show you guys something. And I'd love to get your guys' opinion on it. One of the things that I want to start doing, because not every day is there anything about, sometimes there's nothing about the Tyler Robinson investigation happening. TPUSA is not covering anything regarding Tyler Robinson, regarding Candace Owens, Andrew Wilson, like all these people. Like there's some days where there's just like there's nothing in this arena to cover, and honestly, like longevity wise, I want to cover this until we can find out who really killed Charlie Kirk and get justice. So I will always be covering this, but there's going to come a time where it's not going to be able to be covered every day because there's just going to be stuff that's not happening. And then other weeks, especially, when the trial starts happening, it's going to be like every day. And so that's all it'll be about. But in those other lull points, tell me what you guys think of this idea that I have that I really want to start doing. What do you guys think? The Black Line Brief, breaking down today's biggest news. And we'd be breaking it down together. I'd be breaking it down with you and we'd be talking about it. Tell me if you guys like that idea. Now let me go back to the live chat so I can see what you guys are saying. Don't forget to smash the like. Thank you, Dulcinea. You're the best. I appoint Erica to be the person of the year, Jordan. Neat. Yes, I'm good with regular news. Cool. I'm with it. I like it. All right. I dig it. All right. Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. People like it. Great. Because like I'm sure you guys know, Dolly Parton passed away today. That's breaking news. That's sad, right? She's, wasn't my kind of music, but everyone knows Dolly Parton, right? So, I mean, that's really sad that, we lost a human being that I think a lot of people like followed and loved and appreciated and supported for a long time. So that's sad. Yeah. Rest in peace, Dolly Parton. How old was she, by the way? I mean, she looked great for her age, but like, was she like 80? Yeah. Everyone says Jolene was their favorite song of hers. And I agree. That was my favorite song of hers. Jolene. Yeah. 80? Oh, she was 80. Dang. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you guys are aware, and this made me super interested. Okay. I was trying to create a thumbnail because do you guys understand there's another trial happening right now? Not the Clancy trial. There's another trial happening right now, and it is massive, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody. Do you guys know what it is? Do you guys know what other trial is happening right now that's really massive? Nine to five. Those okay. Everyone, are you guys how far? Yeah, Tupac Shakur. Yes, the Tupac murder trial is underway right now. Yeah, And I don't know if any of you guys, like for me, I'm 41. Like I grew up, I think as we all did, even though like I mean, maybe not everyone like bought the music or like, but like everyone knew and at least listened to some of the music of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. And so when they both were murdered, I remember it was a big deal, right? It was a very big deal. And we never got answers, and it just kind of hit me. Um, so hold on, let me make sure that everyone's saying like everything's good to go. Wait, Mystic is here? Is Mystic here right now? Yes, Suge Knight for sure. You're 41 too, Nicole. Nicole Page, right on. Mystic, if are you here? Oh. Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't get to say so sorry. Okay, but I will say this, guys. I will say this. Mystic got to go home today and she's doing much better and she's home. So, but keep praying for prayers for Mystic. And yeah, I got a really rough phone call last night from my mom and I could really use your guys' prayers for her right now. So, my mom watches all the time. She lives in California, so one of the only ways that she gets to hear and see me all the time is through here. I'm her youngest of 4, so I'm her baby, even though I'm not a baby. Um, you know how it is. I know how it is with my kids. Like they're they're 12, but like they're always in my eyes. Like I see them running around in diapers. Like they're always going to be my little girls. So, but just keep Mystic in your prayers to continue to heal and get better, and then just lift my mom up in your prayers, please. There's yeah, that's all I'll say on that. All right, let's continue. I'm so sorry. All right, okay, let's get back to it. Let's see. All right, thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift. Okay, one of the things that really stuck out to me, you guys, is yes, there wasn't the internet and like YouTube wasn't around like it was back during OJ and back during the Biggie Smalls trial and the Tupac Shakur trial. But you know what, guys? For all these Fed sloppers that want to act as if our institutions and the court system is trustworthy and should be trusted, and even though they may point to recent, things to be like, no, 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 like it's still good. Like we should be able to trust them. Like, yeah, they messed up here, they messed up there, but overall, like we should still just trust them. I actually looked back at like all of some of the most major high profile cases, trials, whether it's murder, whether it's investigation into Michael Jackson. I still don't even know if we know the truth about Matthew Perry. All of these, like the Tupac Shakur murder is being relitigated finally. I mean, like if you guys have ever watched all of the documentaries on that whole thing, and a Los Angeles cop that literally pretty much threw his career away because he was investigating it legitimately and like found out that there were like crooked cops and gang members and like all of these bad individuals involved in this, and then like Suge Knight and oh my gosh, like Puff Daddy involved in it, and Puff Daddy and like Suge Knight, these are federal informants, right? Working for the FBI. So to act like Candace Owens is and our suspicion, our skepticism, our, position that the FBI, the court systems, local, state police departments and prosecutors could be involved in something that is covered up on a local, but also in a national scale. You guys, we have tremendous historical precedent for that. Like, I think we have more historical precedent for that than we have historical precedent for, no, they're honest, they're trustworthy, they got this. Like, let's just wait for trial. Did you guys, like, I can just name like that Jinx guy, the Durst guy, the HBO documentary guy. There are more examples of murder trials and major high profile trials completely going awry and convicting someone that didn't do it. And the other one that I mentioned a while ago is the Stephen Avery case. You have no idea how much I investigated that case personally. That was back in 2000 and I don't know, 15. I reached out because I was like, I felt like I knew exactly who did it. And it definitely wasn't Stephen Avery and his special needs nephew. That's for sure. So, yeah. And then people like Jeffy Epi and Fauci and like the list goes on where the court system like never holds true evil criminals accountable, yet it's weaponized to go after everyday citizens that may have been complicit in something, right? But like, do you guys know the story about the World Trade Center bombing that happened before 9/11? You know, that whole thing was done by federal agents. They're the ones that like built the bomb and like sold the bomb and like convinced the guys to like put the bomb down in the World Trade Center parking garage down underneath. Like, that was totally an FBI ran operation. Same thing with Timothy McVeigh in Oklahoma City. The whole thing against the Branch Davidians, the majority of that whole thing, like the weapons and all that, which is what the justification was for the ATF and the FBI to come in, that was all done by the FBI and the ATF. Was there other things going on in there? I don't know. None of us were inside of there. Like, nobody had like inside eyes to know if any of those allegations were true. One of the girls that came out and alleged things about what's his name, David Koresh, she got proven to be a liar. Her mom and stuff took money. It was put up to that by the federal government, the FBI and the ATF. But there's more examples of what we're experiencing in this Tyler Robinson case than there are for the official FedSlop narrative. I can't point to one example where there actually was a homegrown lone gunman that was like radicalized by themselves, planned from start to finish, an assassination or murder, a high profile individual, carried it out and executed it all on their own. Name one for me. Help me with one. There's not one. That's all I'm saying. They all have been government operations. And like, since the FBI's inception, like, it's always been like that. That's like been the thing. Do you guys not know the story of like all of the blackmail material that they got on Hoover, right? And that's where Hoover got the idea to run a sex blackmailing operation on individuals in order to leverage and control them. It was done to him first by the criminal syndicates, the Jewish mob and the Italian mafia. And then he was like, dang, that's a powerful weapon. They got me to do everything they wanted. Holy smokes. We should do that. And him and Roy Cohen used the plaza and mic'd it up and put cameras everywhere and threw parties and got compromising material on really high profile, powerful, very wealthy individuals. And Trump was there too. That guy's been around this whole story from the very beginning. So sorry if I don't believe you that he's not in the files. Can you imagine? Holy smokes. Let me read these real quick. No, I actually, thank you for the gift. Can you imagine? Okay. Charlie was authentic. He was genuine. He wasn't playing a part. He wasn't a character. He wasn't lying to us. He was exactly who he portrayed himself to be on screen and off screen, period. There's too many people that knew him personally that say that very thing. And that means they all would have to be in on it. They would all have to be liars. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Dave Smith, and even the people we don't like. Even the people that we don't like and we don't trust also just, say like Charlie was, authentic and genuine. And like he was who he was on screen and off screen. He was the same guy. He was just a normal guy. Can you imagine when a good parent becomes a parent, like when a good person becomes a mother or a father, right? Because not everyone should be parents. Sadly, there's very, very bad people that end up being parents and they shouldn't be. And it's super tragic. But when someone like Charlie, and I can speak about this from my own personal experience, that like when you have a child and they're just so precious and vulnerable and they just need so much care, love, and protection. And you find out that there's adult human beings out there that are victimizing and doing atrocious things to kids. It becomes it becomes a thing that if you find out someone that that's partook in that or looked the other way or did something one time or two times or lots of times, doesn't matter. You're part of it. You look at it. You don't say it. Doesn't matter. In any way, shape, or form, you're part of it. You better run from me. Charlie was the same way. If he found out that Donald Trump was in those files in any way, shape, or form, that would have been the end of that. That would have been the end of that. So I think that there was many reasons why they had to take him out. I don't know if that got me off track, but it just like popped into my head thinking about the different levels, right? And I guarantee that could have been okay, listen, if Bibi, the Mossad, and the CIA, right? And who knows, the FBI might have been part of it too, right? Because obviously they were part of it with Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, and Jeffy Epps had compromise on Trump. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's what it was. If Bibi is the one the Mossad are running that operation, at least on their end, and then we have our intel on our end doing it as well, that they're going to approach Trump, right? Because if Charlie became a thorn in Israel's side more so than a thorn in Trump's side, they would have had to come to Trump and JD Vance and been like, you got to go along with this, or we just let it all out. What was the person that testified and was like, Donald Trump's name appears more times in the files than Harry Potter's name appears in all 5 or 7 of the books of the Harry Potter saga, or collection. Like Donald Trump's name appears more times than God's name appears in the Bible. And you're like, wow, that's a pretty astonishing statistic. I wonder how they conveyed to Charlie to stop talking about Jeffy Epps. I wonder if he actually believed that it was all a hoax, or if he was like to his, not his coworkers, but people that might have been his real friends, like Candace or anyone else. Like, yeah, I think he's in it, dude. Yeah. I mean, how could he not be? His name appears more times in the Jeffy Epps files than God's name in his own book. His name's more than Harry Potter. I don't think, Charlie walks away and goes like, yeah, all of those times were just innocent times about getting pizza and stuff. I don't believe it. I was first to stop watching Fox News. Okay. My husband followed. Okay. But we were both convinced when we saw Erica Kirk say, I forgive him, we both thought it was fake. I'll be praying for your mom. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay. During the OJ trial, they sequestered the jury. Yeah, I know, for 269 days. Today, we have Fed sloppers trying to taint the potential jury pool. Prayers for your mom. Thank you so much. Yeah. 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 After I got off the phone last night, and she never calls me super late, but she called me and I spent a long time on the phone with her. And yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say anything. But she could definitely use your prayers. So thank you very much. Okay, in August 2025, Fuentes said Groypers have taken over TPUSA. Yeah, they didn't take over though. He hated TPUSA. He hated Charlie. I mean, there's so many videos of him trying to like go there and heckle Charlie and make his life a living hell. And but I mean, like, he didn't take over. Groypers didn't take over. I think he wanted to, though. I think he wanted to capture a lot of the Gen Zers. I think Fuentes thought that his ideology, his perspectives, his takes on things was going to be more appealing in the future to the majority of the Gen Z, especially Gen Z males, right? Because that's the majority of Fuentes' audience, which is funny because, like, because he's gay. I mean, he's clearly gay. It's so obvious. I don't know what nobody like that is that controversial to say? Like, ah. But he like it's the rhetoric, right? It's the provocative nature of the things that he says, especially like when you're not when a country, when a nation, when a people, and when the youth are stigmatized and silenced from being allowed to talk about a specific thing, a specific country, a specific people, and then comes along this guy, even though he's gay, he pretends to not be. And he's saying all the things that the majority of these young male, white American conservative Christian men have been like ostracized. And for years, we're being told like they're the problem. And then he's like speaking their language for the most part, even though he's being a lot more, I don't know, hyperbolic and, provocative than others. Honestly, I think that he probably gained a huge following in the wake of Charlie's assassination because Charlie was going to increasingly question Israel and this administration. Jeez. Like got stuck on my skin. It was like pulling me. He was going to continue to question this this administration, the choices and decisions they were making, the war in Iran, Israel, Jeffy, all the things that were important to this generation and to the Gen Z. Because if he didn't, he would lose all credibility. Okay. And he knew it. He knew that he was stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Like it's like he wanted to support Israel. He wanted to support Trump and JD Vance, but then they started continually making decisions and doing things that he was like, bro, like, not only am I Christian, I'm just like a human. And you guys are like doing demonic things. And you're like, just like, you guys are evil. Not only that, I think he was awaking to that reality, but he was also like And the way he could gauge it better than anyone else is that he was going to campus events and speaking directly with the youth. And so it's like being able to do a live poll. And he would do, I don't know, like a dozen in the spring and in the fall. He was doing many campus events across the whole country. So he could really gauge what this generation, both liberals as they came up and took the mic, and conservatives as they came up and took the mic, like he could really gauge the temperature and the direction in which this generation was going. And he knew better than anyone that there was no way he could avoid these topics. There's no way he could continue to shill for and support Israel and this administration with these major issues that to this youth those were hard boundaries. No, like no foreign war. No. We don't like PDFers getting away with this. Transparency, release the files, convict people, put them in jail. Period. Get it done. Get Israel out of our country. Like these were hard no's. And there's no way that Charlie was going to be able to maintain his credibility and his following and his organization and his platforms if he just continued to support, defend, and shill for them. So, in my personal opinion, I think that's one of the reasons why he wrote the letter to Bibi. Like, you guys need to do this. I'm not. I can't. It's not working. I'm actually now getting thrown under the bus because people are aware. They can see it now. And I do believe that he did used to obviously shill for Israel. He clearly did, but I mean, to his defense, like so many conservative Protestant Christians did for so long. Some didn't, but I mean, like for the most part, like it was something that I think a lot of us just accepted as normal. It just, we support Israel. We support Jerusalem. Like, yeah, it's like the Bible, and it's like Judeo-Christians and other people, obviously Orthodox or Catholics, were aware of that long before Protestants were. But obviously there came a point where Charlie was like, I'm freaking drowning over here. It's not working. I got to change my tactic. You need to change your tactic. Here's a letter. Go do it. And Bibi, being so dense and so evil and so stubborn and so prideful, he's like, can I come on your show? And Charlie's like, did you not read my letter? Bro, I wrote 7 pages. Did you not catch the theme? You didn't? No, you can't come on my show. No. And I don't want, his suggestion wasn't for Bibi to do anything. It was to find like natural, like independent, authentic, Jewish Israeli citizens to do this. Bibi's an idiot. And so Bibi's like, I'll just go on all of these other podcaster shows that are already in my pocket. Imagine that, right? Charlie said no. Brandon Tatum said, yes, please. So did a bunch of others. But it totally tanked because nobody trusts Bibi. Everyone sees him for the warmonger that he is. I mean, he's just freaking evil from like, just look at him. Sorry. I mean, like, you can't always tell everything from the way someone looks. I get it. No, but I mean, like with everything that we know about this guy, and like, he's just straight up evil. So, I mean, anything that guy does, it's going to just tank, right? Oh, unless you're already a paid shill, then you're like, oh, yay. But, yeah, I think Charlie was definitely aware that he wasn't going to be able to continue to do that without losing complete faith in the public, and realized that it was a losing battle either way. And the only really way to change it all is to get, this administration to distance themselves from that country. And that country needed to change its overall tactic with, news, with how it covered news, with propaganda. And then obviously with Gaza, with Palestine, and with war. It needed to stop what it was trying to do, that it's been doing this whole time. Okay, I think Charlie found out that TPUSA and Calvary Chapel Church were part of that word I don't want to say, transferring people, moving people from one location to another without permission, right? Against the law, moving of people. And the laundering of blackmail, or laundering and blackmail, right? He was a good man who, I believe, saw money as success and realized he was hanging out with a brood of vipers. He was a good man who, I believe, saw money as success. Yes, I agree with that. And realized that he was hanging out with a brood of vipers. Yeah, so I want to respond. Hold on. I just want to make sure I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I actually agree with all of that because I think in one way, shape, or form, because I don't know to what degree, like James Cadiz and Frank Turek, but for sure, Greg Laurie, okay? Greg Laurie, for sure, in my opinion, right? I don't know if any of you guys have actually read what that guy allowed to happen in the orphanage that he had in Romania and the guy that he allowed to remain in power there and to like run it for decades and decades, even after an independent investigation was done. And the results proved that this guy was abusing hundreds and hundreds of children. And Greg Laurie allowed him to stay in control of that orphanage for another, I don't know, 4 years and gave him $17,000 a month. And that guy used that money to victimize more people, more kids. So, and then you got the guy like Rick Cutler. That guy's got ties to this whole thing, this whole network of like, oh, we're here because we want to protect and save people from that. That's like the perfect cover. That's such the perfect cover, you know, and others I believe are probably involved as well. And I do believe that Charlie saw money as a form of success. I don't think that I don't think money was his master. I think the God was his master, the Holy Spirit and Jesus Christ was his master. However, I do think he saw money as a form of success, but I think he began to realize that money could also be a form and mechanism of control. And that it was through accepting donors' money, specific, not all donors, but specific donors' money, that's where a lot of the control was being leveraged over him. What to say, what not to say, what to cover, what not to cover, who to have on, who not to have on, which obviously it was not around before 2023 because no one really wanted to talk about Israel yet. And I think that's the biggest sign, you guys. What's the one thing that actually changed in the space of what was the nation's, like what we were discussing publicly? So he was allowed to accept the money and to do what he was allowed to do. And it worked fine because guess what? Never really came up before 2023. It never came up. Never. Not in his circles, not in Christian circles, not in Christian conservative Republican radio stations and TV, YouTube channels and other platforms. It never came up. Israel never came up. Some fringe spaces did bring it up and we're aware of it. Obviously, like we have the three Israelis dancing on top of the van in New York City as they were filming and rejoicing that the Twin Towers came crumbling down. But Charlie was, for the most part, opposed to that belief that Israel had anything to do with 9/11. He became more aware, and he was also increasingly more interested in what part Israel played in JFK's assassination. He was like, I'm interested to learn more about that. But for the most part, you guys, like, he accepted the money, and it never was an issue for him because he never was in a predicament where he felt like he wanted to cover a certain story, but couldn't. Especially like during the first Trump administration, nothing had come out with Jeff Yeppe either, though. Like not in the sense of like Trump, like a little bit here and there, but like mainly the main news during Trump's administration was just all the women and the kids and, everyone else that could have been involved. And there was speculation that Trump was involved, but then he gets convicted, he goes to prison, and then he dies and he's murdered, but he's alive and he's in Israel. Like that took the majority of it. And then Biden and Kamala are, in the administration for the next 4 years. So what really was the things that changed, in my opinion, was Trump was back in the administration with JD Vance. So now the ball was in their court to handle the Jeffy Epi thing. And Charlie believed that they were going to do the right thing. And he was like, Kamala and Biden didn't do the right thing. Trump and JD are going to do the right thing. That's what they ran on. They ran on that, number one, right? And then they ran on no foreign wars and stuff. But what happened during the Biden administration, right, was the 2023 October 7th thing. And so to me, it was the fact that Charlie, was totally okay with accepting money that he didn't think was ever something that was controlling him. But he had never tried to speak about something that his donors and the people giving money didn't appreciate. Well, it's interesting because the Jeff Yeppe thing and Mossad, all that goes back to Israel. The war in Iran and all that goes back to Israel. So really, Charlie had never began to talk about Israel negatively and Jewish donors negatively at all until 2023. And I think that's when he realized that all the money came at a significant price. And he found that out after 2023. And it was a continuous downhill spiral from 2023 to September 10th, 2025, because there were periods where he let off the gas a little bit, talking about Jeffy Epi and Israel and Jewish donors. But for the most part, he was like fluttering the gas. Like he let off a little, but then he's back on it. And so I think he realized like that's the system of control he's running into. That's what the money was really for. It was for a moment like this to control people like this. So that's my opinion. All right, let's get into, what is this? This is not the one I want to. So this just came up on my thing and I don't know. I want to see what he says. I didn't have a chance to listen to it. It's short. I just want to see what this scumbag has to say because it was just posted. Let me end this. Let's see what the poll. Everybody, it's unanimous. Well, I mean, somewhat unanimous. The poll says that 2026 Time Magazine's Person of the Year goes to Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk. Okay. All right. Let me actually see. So this was posted literally today. Yep. And it says, let's hear what he says. This is, after losing Charlie, Andrew Colvett reveals how he dealt with the assassination. I haven't been able to listen to it, so you're going to get my live reaction right now. I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but we're going to find out. Zamet, they asked him to defend the indefensible, and he said no. Correct, right? Because harming children in gross ways, okay, that's the Jeffy Epi thing, and then murdering innocent children. That's what they were asking him to either defend or just be silent. Say nothing. I think those were the two demands. You either defend us or you say nothing at all. And he's like, I can't do either of those. Is there a third option? Is there a third option where I just tell you to go fly a kite, take your money, bye? And then I go, you guys can go pound sand and I'm going to go meet up with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and we're going to start our own thing. How about that? How about them apples? And they were like, you could do that. We're going to kill you, but sure. Yeah, that's prerogative. Go ahead and do that. We'll see you. We'll see you. See you soon. All right. Let's hear Andrew Colvett's total BS.
Andrizo, man, and Jason Wynn, CEO of Strong Cell. And there you can see them. We have them all gathered around the table in studio. A really, really important segment. And we're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about men and the importance of all that. James, you founded Andrizo, man, to strengthen men.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a really powerful testimony about what this has done for your own marriage.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into all of that. But as I was prepping for this and looking at your biography, James, I was taken aback by
Hold on. Holy smokes. I just want to hear the part where Andrew's talking. Let's see. Transcript. Usually it has the breakdown. I don't want to hear all the other guys talk. I mean, it's a shorter clip, but let's see. A paramedic who saved my life started pulling me out. No. Hold on, I'm just gonna find the part where Andrew's talking. Because that guy's just talking about Andrio. So the return is specifically helping men in their marriages, manhood. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. Well, let me just start here and then I'm just gonna skip through it as we go and just see the part where Andrew's talking, because these guys.
We don't talk a lot about what are they doing to grown men.
Absolutely.
Like a giant deafening noise at all times that's
100%.
distracting you from stuff that really matters.
And
Absolutely.
it's the strategy of the enemy.
It's about the diversion. Diversion is a tool of the enemy.
100%.
Yeah.
It is his hammer. It's his hammer, man. It's for it. And you got to see the conversations. I call them dangerous conversations. Corner. I tell men, the woman that you're waiting for, God's waiting.
Model for masculinity is neither of those two things.
No. And that's exactly.
Okay, this was stupid. They didn't. This. I hate it when they do this. They freaking lie. This is this guy talking the whole time. This is not. After losing Charlie, Andrew Colvett reveals how he dealt with the assassination. No, he didn't. He's not even talking. It's this dude talking the whole time. Unless this guy's name is Andrew, which I don't think it is. But anyway, all right. Moving on, because this is where we're going to start. Now we're going back to what we were talking about with the whole Candace Owens thing. All right. Did you guys know that Spencer Pratt, the guy that was running for mayor of Los Angeles, came out with a very high quality, high productive, quality video? It's super insane. It's like covering all sorts of things. It's all of the talking points. And that's why, like, none of this is organic. There's just no way. Like, he's saying all the same things about like the Clancy thing and the left and then the right. And then he goes into Candace Owens. And so, of course, Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff are like, oh, we love Spencer Pratt. Well, I know they did anyway, but they had to use it because he's attacking Candace Owens. And so we're going to start here. And then, yes, we're going to get to the other videos I have as well. All right.
I call this the Spencer Pratt enters the fray Monday, okay? Because this is a big new development. Now, I've always really respected Spencer Pratt. Actually, it's funny. I have some, not directly, but like a friend group removed connection to Spencer Pratt and his wife, which I only found out recently.
You have a lot of removes. You are at 0 degrees of separation from Taylor Swift. I remember you talked about that.
Yeah, it's true story.
I'm just so cool.
Spencer Pratt comes out with a big new video. It's one of those like 10-minute videos that Spencer Pratt, and he's monologuing to the camera. It's kind of like, it'd be like when Tucker would do his monologue for 10, 15 minutes on Fox, but it's even more produced and it's very visually stunning. And he enters the fray because he is very upset, as many of you are, as we are, about this unhinged, let's just call it TikTok brain, therapy brain, whatever it is, of women getting behind Lindsay Clancy, raising over $1 million for him, doing the hearts, the salt.
So this is one of their talking points that all of them are saying, and they started it a couple weeks ago. Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Graham Allen, Jack Posobiec. They were doing it on the Thought Crime episode. Jack was doing it on his Human Events Live. They were doing it on their show. Graham Allen did it on his show. Brandon Tatum, like all of the talking heads. What they're trying to do is they're trying to they're trying to link all of us and Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson in with the crazy left and with crazy wino moms. No, I'm not saying any people that like wine and that are moms here or that. I'm saying this is what their argument is that the women that are defending Clancy, which all the women that I've seen online that are defending Clancy are like literal crazy leftist ladies. Okay. It's no, I don't see one Christian lady that's a mom that like defends this lady. Like they're all talking about like astrology and like, what's your sign and like all this crazy nonsense. Like that's how they discern that she's innocent and it's just insane. They're trying to lump all of us and Candace Owens in with this crowd, and they're doing it so that they can, I don't know, do whatever they're about to do to us. But I mean, we know that once they label you and, label you with whatever label it is, then they can get away with doing anything else to you. And they really want to silence Candace Owens, and all of the attacks that they've tried to do at this point has not worked. Okay, that's why they needed to get Andrew Wilson. That's another tactic. They had to step up their approach in attacking Candace Owens, and so they get Andrew Wilson to come on board. And now they're linking Candace and all of us that follow the Tyler Robinson case and that don't believe the official narrative in with all of these other people that I think are legitimately crazy. Thank you so much, Brittany, for the gift. All right.
Solidarity hearts for a woman that strangled 3 of her children in cold blood and then tried to commit suicide jumping out of a second-story window or whatever, gets paralyzed from the waist down. Anyways, the whole nation is up in arms about this. I happen to think there's, I would say, foreign actors or maybe domestic actors nudging and pushing this stuff, amplifying it, but there's a lot of crazy out there. So a lot of this is really organic, and we have to come to grips with that. And so this was his video trying to come to grips with that. And he made a point that I also made about how Hollywood has been celebrating villains and anti-heroes. I think that's part of it. And then TikTok has, and it's not just TikTok, it's Instagram, it's all the social medias that have come and created these little echo chambers, these algorithmic silos of people that are getting fed disinformation at rapid clips. And
so they're talking about Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and all of us.
They don't have enough common sense to process it all.
Well, it's a lot of clips. I think we should dive into
Let's
it.
do it.
Which one do we want to start with? Well, we have the anti-heroes one.
Let's do that. Let's do
that as the setting the stage. Let's do 17.
I don't want to listen to the anti-hero one
as well.
Because that's where he literally uses the analogy of Breaking Bad, which is literally verbatim the same exact analogy that Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, and Jack Posobiec and Graham Allen and all these talking heads used 2 weeks ago. And that's what I mean. Like, I'm in a unique position to see the patterns, because I watch all of these morons to see what they're saying each day, to see what they're pushing. Okay. Because honestly, whatever they're pushing, it's not just coming from them. It's coming from on high. And, I'll share the clip of Baron Coleman in a minute that shows that there's literally people sent from the Department of War to attack Candace Owens and all of us. But let's start here.
The Venn diagram between the Lindsay Clancy truthers and the Charlie truthers is darn near 1-to-1.
There it is. So what he's saying is the Venn diagram, right, of the Lindsay Clancy truthers and those that are saying that Tyler Robinson is a patsy, is not the lone gunman that shot a 30-06 from the Losi Center, but is involved somehow, are the same. We're the same. That's what they're wanting their community to know. Because then they can incite their community and the public to go and then do things on their behalf, because literally anyone that defends Clancy, I think, is, I don't know, not stable, not Christian.
One, and also that it's fundamentally, a lot of it aligns with the left and its manifestations of political
and that we're going to get into
values.
that, because something you're going to hear, we have Jeremy Carl coming on halfway through this hour, and we're going to talk about, a lot of people online are now saying the left-right paradigm, it's dated, bro. But it's dated. We got to unite against the man.
When he did that, I laughed so hard, him trying to be funny, him trying to do like an impression. I don't know. That just cracked me up. Freaking Andrew's such a moron, dude.
It's completely insane, actually, because think about what they're saying. They're saying you should align with the abortion lobby that wants to kill your kids up until birth, sometimes after infanticide. The open borders group that want a third world America. They want to take your guns. They want to take your speech. I mean, this is what.
That's not what Candace has said. That's not what Tucker has said. That's not what Zach has said. That's not what I have said. That's not what Barron has said at all. What we're saying is that this tactic of like blaming everything on the left when the right is in power, right? And then blaming everything on the right when the left is in power, that tactic of getting us to continually fight with one another, the jig is up. We see that. No, I do not agree with the principles and ideals and the beliefs that the left holds. And Zach said that he could never be on board with pro-choice. Neither can I. I'm pro-life. Period. I'm always freedom of speech. Okay? Always the right to bear arms. These are things that are unnegotiable. They're unnegotiable. They were unnegotiable for Charlie. They're unnegotiable for me. Okay? But what we're saying is those in power trying to weaponize us against one another to continually then run back to our camps to then vote their person that they push on us like, oh, this is how we beat the left. You have to vote this person in. He's going to save us. And then on this side, this is how you beat the right. We have to vote this person in. They're going to save you and they're going to take down the right. That's done. The jig is up on that. And that's why the proposition is not, hey, everyone from the right that doesn't believe in this right versus left, come over to the left. That's not what's being proposed. It's a third party. It's something different, okay? Tucker Carlson's not a liberal. Neither is Candace. Neither is Joe Kent. Neither is Thomas Massey or Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're not going to start pushing leftist ideals. Okay. But there are some things like libertarian, right? That's not far right. So there is stuff in between, right? That can be, negotiated, but then there's non-negotiables. Okay. And no one is suggesting that we all just come together down here. Just everybody. That's never been what was proposed or suggested. All right. Candace defended her. She doesn't like big pharma. TPUSA started this narrative just after Candace gave her viewpoint. On who? Wait, Candace defended who? Who did Candace defend? Herself? Yeah, Candace doesn't like big pharma. None of us do. Hopefully, I don't. That's why, what's his name? RFK ran, the Make America Healthy Again. Maha. TPUSA started this narrative. What narrative? Just after Candace gave her viewpoint. Her viewpoint on big pharma? I'm a little confused.
But this cooked brain syndrome on the internet looks like. And so what Spencer Pratt does next is, I would say, courageous. And he has my admiration for doing this. I don't know Spencer Pratt, never talked to him, but this is great. SOT 12.
Bull. That's what he says about everything, about Andrew Wilson, about all of them. Oh, we never talked to any of them. They just on their own happen to all be saying exactly the same thing. And then we play them on our show and then we invite them on our show. It's just a coincidence. We're all just great minds think alike, guys.
What about all the goblins celebrating the communists who shot Charlie Kirk? You have insane influencers making a fortune of shamelessly exploiting his death, tying themselves in knots with the most convoluted Rube Goldberg explanations to try and deny something we all saw in 4K and wish we didn't. It was an exploding mic.
He had a rigged microphone.
And they timed it precisely to the millisecond with the fake gunshot from the patsy.
The shaped charge was actually supposed to hit him in the chest.
There were Jews hiding under the grass. It was French special forces.
So he says a lot of straw men. That none of those things are connected. None of those theories are what Candace Owens has said. Sorry, I'll let it play uninterrupted. I get pissed off.
The craziest, most unhinged imaginable, and people believe it. Anything but what actually happened. Anything but the most obvious, straightforward explanation. The woke communists you saw on camera who have prints on the rifle killed an anti-communist leader because communists are violent lunatics. That's it. We have a communist violence problem, but psychos on the internet have made an entire cottage industry around denying and exploiting it.
I just want to like slow clap because he hits the nail on the head, and it's so refreshing. If you sit in this chair, if you sit in yours, to hear somebody with a large platform articulate this point so clearly.
A large platform, and let's be blunt, a good flair for presentation, and in a way that can make it viral, that can really make it punch through for a lot of people who maybe don't just watch, they're not going to watch a 4-hour podcast dissecting it. They're not going to watch all of those videos on YouTube, but some of them will get won over by
Well, I hope this
charismatic
stuff
mayor
goes viral. SOT 13.
What's so much worse than these crazy conspiracies is how it drives people to abandon their basic human decency. It goes from just
All right, so are we just asking questions? I can't remember, like, the video that he showed, there's a lot of stuff in it I can't play, but I think if Real America's Voice played it, then it probably is okay.
asking questions to demonizing a grieving widow, celebrating her husband's violent death. It's so much worse than just absolving the actual murderer and trying to sabotage the trial. These people have a bloodlust. What have you become when you celebrate an assassination like this? I don't care what your politics are. This was a father, a loving husband. It was one of the most grotesque and shocking moments I've ever seen in American history. But the reactions that followed were far more grotesque and reveal a sad report on where we are as a country. Teachers mocking his death, drag queens putting on assassination fashion shows. Who are these demons?
Yeah, but none of them are connected to Candace Owens. And I'm trying to find, so I just saw what you reposted. So Candace defended Clancy in what way? Once she defended Clancy, TPUSA started saying that these people defend that mother, but not the widow. What did Candace Owens say? Okay, yes, I found the Candace Owens tweet statement. Okay, here it is. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. She argued that Clancy had been placed into what she called an intentional psychosis. Oh, okay, but because she's against big pharma, that's now I understand your previous tweet, through psychiatric medications and blamed the doctor's pharmaceutical system. She said there were doctors who, in her view, should be held responsible for what Clancy was prescribed. Okay. So the X clip appears to have circulated prominently on August 20th, 2026, including through with the caption, Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. Ugh. Wow. I wouldn't have said that. I wish she would have chose her words a little bit more carefully. I don't know if she was trying to be provocative, but I mean, I agree that the doctors have culpability here. I mean, I remember from the part that I listened to, like, this chick was on a lot of medicines. But still, I don't think that there's any excuse. I don't think that there's any excuse for what she did. And I mean, she's admitted guilt. She admitted doing it. I think the only part of the trial is to find out who else should also hold some responsibility in this. And that the doctors should be responsible, not just in this case, in all cases, for what they prescribe their patients. And all doctors, I thought it was because like she had multiple doctors that prescribed her different medication. I thought all medications and doctors now like share a system. It is that way for opiates, I know. Maybe not for SSRIs and antipsychotics. I don't know. I'm not on those. But I know for opiates, because that's what I used to be on and addicted to when I had all my surgeries. You can't go doctor shopping, like go get meds from here and then go to another doctor over here, go to ER over here. It's all the system, like it lets you know. And so that can't happen anymore because people used to do it all the time. And that should also be the case for these. But I mean, Lindsay Clancy is obviously guilty in my opinion. So, but doctors should be held responsible for what they prescribe. Okay. Thank you so much for the gifts, guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's go to the next part, because this is Baron and he's going to detail something, and I could break it down, but he does a good job of it. So I'm just going to play it.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do we make of this? We know Gary's become probably the most virulent supporter, perhaps, of TPUSA in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death, even more than people that work there. He's become the most obnoxious.
Yeah, I noticed it was low. I just turned it up. Sorry. Thank you, Max Frost.
Rude and nasty.
That should be better.
Until they employed Smoke Boy. The most obnoxiously rude and nasty, hate-filled, cussing, name-calling detractor of Candace Owens. That all began, exactly. We can trace it to the precise day. The precise day that he interviewed Brian Harpole. Is this kayfabe? Is this whole we fired Brian Harpole? Is this just kayfabe? Is this fake? Is this not real? Is this whole releasing this message that appears, in my opinion, to throw Brian Harpole under the bus? Is this just some sort of fake act to act as if Brian Harpole is somehow in opposition to TPUSA? And where's Dan Flood in all this?
Yeah, where is Dan?
You remember Dan Flood? Where's Dan Flood in all this?
He got a raise.
Not never seen in public ever again. He doesn't appear on any shows.
Nope.
He doesn't weigh in on anything. That man's laying low. He's supposedly still employed by TPUSA, but there's no evidence of it. He's not.
And that's one thing that I'd love your guys' take on. They're obviously protecting Dan Flood. They're clearly protecting him. Like, his name rarely gets brought up. He was not in the public. They pushed Brian Harpole out there, which I don't know, leads me to believe that like Brian Harpole is their like designated fall guy for a lot of this. And that maybe, I don't know, that if a lot of the planning and preparation and execution of this plan was more so done by Dan Flood, possibly, because that guy clearly did not get fired, did not quit, got a raise, got a promotion, and has never been seen or heard from in public after this, and is clearly being protected by high levels of government and TPUSA. But they're hanging Brian Harpole out to dry, which is interesting. So I don't know. I don't know what your guys' take is on that. Yeah, the volume was low on the playback. Thank you. I saw it. I turned it up. You guys can hear the the Baron Coleman clip better. Yeah, I turned it up.
On their website, he's not at any events. Does he work from home? Does he ever go to Phoenix? Does he travel at all? And now let's get to everybody's favorite.
No, I'm not surprised about.
I don't even want to
Flood. I know he used to do that.
I don't want to give her the attention. I do want to talk real quickly about something that happened over on X in July 6th to be exact. We get this tweet out of nowhere. There's a woman named Data Republican, small r, she says. Thread, Candace Owens on Erica Kirk in her own words. Before the investigation, Candace spent 40 episodes defending Erica Kirk. She called her genuinely such a nice person. She swore that nobody outside of my husband and Erica Kirk had the power to shut her up. She told her audience she would stop if Erica asked. Erica asked her to stop. Candace didn't stop. She couldn't. The investigation had become a primary subscription product. I would argue that Candace was doing quite well before Charlie Kirk died. She was a household name before Charlie Kirk died. So she revoked Erica's authority the only way she could, by making Erica untrustworthy. And then they pull together this long thread about how Candace Owens is actually a problem, and she is advocating, whether she knows it or not, for people to harm Erica Kirk. I disagree with that. I think she's been nothing but consistent on nobody should harm anybody. There's been enough harm in this case. Why would there
Correct.
be any more harm?
Correct.
But Data Republican goes through and highlights a report called Permission to Kill, how Candace Owens built a digital assassination campaign against Erica Kirk. Candace says this report is a Zionist conspiracy against her. The report is her own footage, her own audience, her own words on her own show. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the foundation of it, but the conclusion is a Zionist conspiracy against Candace Owens. Every stage of the permission structure is on camera. Nothing was taken out of context because nothing needs to be. The only question left is whether she stops before the audience finishes what she started. Oh, this is really bad. So this is July 6th. There's a report that comes out from some pro-Zionist organization, and they say Candace Owens is invoking violence. She's enraging her audience to violence. And it's highlighted by Data Republican. She gets immediately spun up and sent all over the internet. Well, because TPUSA can't go grab the report and say, look, that'll be too obvious. We got to put somebody between the report and us if you're TPUSA. So they grab Data Republican and they start shipping her tweets all over the place. See, even independent, fact-based people, numbers people, they believe Candace is doing these things. And I had no idea where this woman came from. So now we learn today that she is, in fact, a government employee, Data Republican.
Yep.
She's a government employee for the Department of War.
Yep.
Jessica Pounds, a.k.a. Data Republican, a Department of War employee, alleges that Undersecretary of State Sarah Rogers is attempting to entrap her by providing her with information to leak under the guise of offering a scoop. I'll tell you about this in a second, but the Pentagon has confirmed she serves at the Department of War as a special government employee. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's back up a second. Because now in August, we're learning she's a Department of War employee. And this Department of War employee takes to her own personal Twitter account, does not disclose that she works for the Department of War, and launches an assault calling Candace Owens a digital assassin. Well, that seems odd. That seems like it should have been disclosed at the beginning.
I agree.
You guys remember Graham Allen, also a Department of War employee at one point.
Yeah, I was the one that found that clip. I'm the one that any Graham Allen clip that Zach has shown, he said it the other day, that he knows when I tell him, hey, I got a clip for you of Graham Allen you got to watch. He's like, I know I got to watch it. I'm the one that sent him that, and he had it on his show, and then he posted it on X, and it went crazy because Graham Allen admitted to being part of the Department of War media strategic advisor, executive advisor, and part of the rapid response team, which is a great segue to hop here. And my timestamp says 7, but I think he sets it up. So just bear with me a second.
To a group of thousands, it looked like at least multiple hundreds of people. We're going to talk about all of the continuing videos of women siding with Lindsay Clancy. We're even going to show you now that married couples are now fighting about this, that divorces are happening already.
Remember, they tried to say that same thing about Candace Owens. Notice this like through line, okay? So I just did some more looking, and people sent me things. Candace Owens wasn't defending Clancy, okay? She's against big pharma, period. And so that was the point of the post. Not defending Clancy, not defending what she did. It was taking an attack on big pharma. And so take that for what it is. That's my opinion, that's what she was attempting to do. Maybe I would have worded it differently, but whatever. She can do whatever she wants. She's her own person. But here, remember when Frank Turek came out and said he gets emailed all the time a person emailed him that Candace is responsible for ruining marriages. And then all of the talking heads for like a week or two ran with that. Candace Owens is ruining marriages. And now they're saying the same thing about this whole Clancy trial. And now because Candace Owens made that one tweet about big pharma and medications and the doctors, now they're saying Candace Owens is on that team and all the people with Candace Owens are on that team. And what do you know? The same things are happening. You know, Candace Owens and, you know, this Clancy trial is ruining marriages. I don't think that these are separate. Like this is connected and the people that are doing it are connected.
Breakups are happening. And then we're going to talk about this new thing that seems to be happening. Baron Coleman made the internet over the weekend. I don't know exactly when he posted this video. I don't really care, but it is revealing the plot that I told you guys would eventually happen. That once they ran out of Erica content, Turning Point content, then they would seek to destroy Charlie's legacy themselves. And just like I'm right all the time at this point, they're revealing the playbook. And it's disgusting. And all of this plays into itself. Well, how does the problem we're having with women and this lunacy that we're having with murder content addiction online play into the DSA movement, play into the Candace Owens / Baron Coleman cultist, all of this? Well, they all have one thing in common. They're being perpetuated primarily by women. Don't get mad at me. The data supports it and the data backs it up. And ladies that are in this chat on this show, we got work to do. We got a lot of work to do. Obviously, I'm not.
Bro, this guy like lives out of a hotel room. He like is like rarely ever at his home set. His poor wife and kids, bro. Like this guy like lives out of his hotel room. Let's see if we're gonna get to the Baron Coleman.
To 40, and it's over 85%. So we can get mad all we want, but the data doesn't lie.
Data does lie.
Multiple people involved in murder. But here's the thing.
So he was saying that the data supports that all the women are to blame. All you crazy wino women, it's all your fault.
Until we make it illegal, doctors are going to do what the patient wants them to do.
No, doctors are not supposed to do what the patient wants them to do. No, Graham, that's not how it works. I get that some doctors do that and they should lose their license. They'd be breaking the Hippocratic Oath if they're doing what the patient wants them to do. The doctor's the expert. They make the decisions. They don't have a gun to their head forcing them to write a prescription.
So at the end of the day, it is the patient or the woman, the pregnant woman, seeking out these things. Again, you want to know how this murder culture, this murder content phenomena is taking over? It's because the person, the ethnicity, and the gender of the most violent among us is actually not white men.
Oh.
It's women.
Oh.
The only thing that makes the stats say it's white men is because we don't classify abortion as murder.
No. So wait, the stats do lie? The stats don't lie. This other stat, that stat lies because the way that they run the stat. I'm going to get to the part where he talks about Baron. So let's see, maybe like right here.
Baron Coleman is her person to pitch out the new ideas and see how the female audience predominantly takes it. This is him saying, well, if you produce text messages that prove that Charlie was lying in public, that he liked Candace when in reality he really didn't, well, is Charlie a liar? What else is Charlie lying about? Literally trying to slander a man in his grave. Here we go.
All right. So I've seen this whole clip, and if you guys watch Baron, you've seen it too. I can play some of it well, we can play it and listen to it to see what they cut out and what like where they start and end the clip. All Barron was saying is this, that TPUSA is continually coming out and saying that Charlie and Candace were not friends. They had a massive falling out and they were not friends at all. Okay. But then you have all of the clips of Charlie. One of the most recent clips of Charlie was August 2025. He's asked by someone in the crowd about Candace Owens. And he's like, I love Candace. Like, she's my friend. Like, you're not going to stop being friends with him. She holds some interesting and different views than me. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to stop being friends with someone because somebody asks me to. He says they're friends. I'm not going to stop being friends with someone because somebody tells me to. Well, in order to stop being friends with someone, you'd have to be friends with them to stop being friends with them. Charlie defended Candace Owens every single time her name ever came up that he was on screen. So what they want you to believe, they being TPUSA, is that Charlie was fake. And so that's what they want you to believe. Okay. And that's what Barron is talking about, is that they want you to believe that Charlie was nuanced and that he held positions publicly for the sake of the public's sake, right? For perception's sake. But privately, he held different positions. So like literally, all Barron is saying is, well, if that's true, then what are they saying about Charlie? If they're saying that that's what Charlie did, what are they saying about Charlie? And what does that say about other positions Charlie held? So that's all that Barron was saying. What's interesting is that you can go to any one of these people's pages. Like, let's see. Let me just pull something up. Let's go to YouTube. Okay. Let's see. Share. Wait, this just came out? Frank Turek just came out and warned, or is that an old one? That's interesting. What's this? Frank Turek warns Candace Owens, back off Charlie Kirk case. Wait, hold on. No, that's an old video, my dude. What's wrong with this guy's face? Hold on. Let me get back, because now it makes me want to look up Frank Turek to see if he said something. No. Yeah, that's an old one. That seems to be the blue shirt that he was wearing in the video that I played the other night. Okay, but let me go back, because so if we were to look up, like what I just found out too is, so this Josh Carr kid, what do you know? Right, so we go to videos. What do you know? Baron Coleman is a liar about Charlie Kirk. Baron Coleman mocked Charlie Kirk in a disgusting rant, caught on camera, right? Breaking, TPUSA reveals that Candace Owens said after Charlie Kirk died, it will give you chills. Look at, like, just, it's all about Candace Owens attacking Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Okay. And they're all running the same message today about Baron Coleman and that statement, right? So we know Graham Allen said it. I know who's another one. So Chicks on the right. Right, let's see. They just ran with the what's his name? The Pratt thing. They ran with the Candace Owens lied about the text messages, burn it all down. And then in their lives, they also talked about there was another video that they had just did, but it was a short, and I didn't bookmark it. So here's the one. He's calling him a liar. They're all coordinating. Let's see who's another one. Paramount Tactical. Okay. Right here he is. He's doing the Baron Coleman thing. The truth about Baron Coleman and the grifters exploiting Charlie Kirk. Right. They're all being fed the same thing. Oh, he loves Laura Loomer. That's interesting. Oh, but he hates Candace Owens. Loves Laura Loomer, but hates Candace Owens. Hates Baron Coleman. Okay. And then you have Graham Allen, like we were just listening to, right? Where he's going to try to misrepresent. Let's see.
I'm not two-faced. And I don't think Charlie was. Does that give us some insight onto why?
Again, this is exactly what I said.
Okay. And now that Candace is on vacation, Baron Coleman is a proxy for Candace. Okay. Well, and even when Candace is not on vacation, Baron is still a proxy for Candace as well. Because literally, even all the attacks that they've ever made on Baron always end up leading back to attacks on Candace. So, and it's the same thing with like Zach Costello, and you saw it yesterday in the debate. Like, and that's what I was trying to tell him. Even though I love Candace and I support her, and I think she's completely honest, just stop debating me about Candace, because that's what I saw in the debate with Paramount and Zach and Andrew Wilson and Zach. And it comes up all the time. When anyone tries to debate that Tyler Robinson is a patsy, or at least he's not the lone gunman, we all ending in being forced to defend something Candace has said. Okay. So they're all getting the talking points each day. And in my opinion, it's all coming from the same place. And I think it's coming from high up in this administration, high up in the government, and TPUSA. And TPUSA ran with the same thing. They attacked Baron Coleman this past week as well. All right. So let's see what he says.
Was going to happen.
Oh, you called it. You're so smart.
It only leads to this.
I
said this. I don't remember how long ago.
Well, you're psychic.
6-7 months ago. I don't remember.
Wow.
But it was always going to lead to this, because eventually more and more things were going to come out to show that Charlie and Candace were not as close towards the end as Candace wants people to believe.
Literally, though, nothing has come out. What is he talking about? Am I missing something, guys? Has something come out that I'm unaware of? Has something come out that has proven that Candace and Charlie weren't friends at the end? Nothing has come out. So he's like, this was inevitable. I said this 6 or 7 months ago that, as more things came out and proved that Candace and Charlie weren't as close as Candace said, they were always going to then, evolve into attacking Charlie. Nobody's attacked Charlie. We're saying that you guys are pretty much saying that he's a liar, though, by saying, because we all have all of Charlie's public statements, and you're saying, though, behind Candace's back and behind everyone else's back, he supposedly hated Candace and didn't trust her. You guys are saying it. We're just calling you out for having said that.
And Charlie publicly wanted to keep the tent together so we could win the elections.
Oh, that's it.
Everybody that actually knew Charlie knows this. But either way,
that's all he cared about.
If Candace actually loves Charlie, then why hasn't she condemned what Baron Coleman just said? Baron Coleman and her talk all the time. Baron Coleman loves to point that out. Also, you know who hasn't said anything about the Hassan Piker video? Candace Owens. So my question is, if Candace really loves Charlie, and I'm not saying she does or she doesn't, I'm saying...
Yeah, you are. You're saying if she actually loved him, she would do what you think she should do. Look at his backstage monkey. The guy's a moron, dude. Oh my gosh, what is this guy? Also, she can cover whatever she wants to cover, and her not covering something doesn't mean that she doesn't love Charlie. Like, you guys, like, this guy's just such a moron. We can move on from this guy. Let's see. Right. And so this is straight from, right? This is Josh Carr.
His murder, none of it makes sense. We're going to get into that at the end. So this first clip comes from a conversation.
Something that I've not publicly communicated yet, but basically it was that if the wrong people take over the organization, and she said this, I'll never forget it. She says, I will burn down that organization. I swear to God.
And you mean Turning Point?
Turning Point.
Very long
If
clip.
the wrong people, and I just assumed because
We know the clip, and it's Andrew Wilson. He's there, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, wow! I don't think you know what a bombshell that is." Oh, say it again. Say it again.
Owens is saying there is anyone that she does not knight cannot be the head of TPUSA. And really what that means is that it's supposed to be her or George Farmer in her mind.
So I found out more about this guy after. I'm like, this guy's so dishonest. It's unreal. There's other videos that I listened to, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but the positions that he holds are just 100% untrue and just totally dishonest. And he lies to his community. And it's just so sad. You know, it's so, yeah, it's so ridiculous.
They're supposed to be running TPUSA together. And the reason why this conversation was happening in the first place between Andrew Wilson and TPUSA is because they were talking about the things Charlie was saying close to his death. And the claim that the podcast Grifters has made is that Charlie was murdered by Israel and that this was an elaborate.
No, it's that it seems like there was a much more to this story than we've been told. Okay. So one of Paramount Tactical's little B-boys is Artie Trolls. And so they're out here playing the recent interview, I guess, of Joe Kent and Viva Frey, who literally has been doing hit pieces on Candace Owens for a while now. And in my opinion, recently lost a debate against Jimmy Dore that was moderated by Brett Weinstein. And then he walked back his positions. He couldn't hold all of them because they're not tenable. So anyway, they think that they have a gotcha on Candace here. All these people can't ever pass up an opportunity to misrepresent something so that they can make a point that they want to make, which attacks Candace. Artie Trolls is literally a troll. And Viva Frey is TPUSA's little whipping boy that goes out there and attacks Candace for them. I don't even want to play this. I'm just showing you all of the different content that these people have. And this is not even an exhaustive list. Let's see. And then, yours truly, the grift is being exposed. The Charlie Kirk text message. I don't even want to play this guy's voice. He drives me nuts, right? So he's going to play Candace Owens, right? And then he's going to talk a bunch of smack. Oh, he's going to talk a bunch of smack about Baron Coleman. Oh, let's hear what he has to say about that. I want to get right past.
It's like, I'm not specially trained in anything. I just snowboarded and skateboarded for like 10 years, and I've definitely landed jumps that were much higher than a one story. You know what I mean?
Well, when I was a kid,
the guy talking is a guy named Enigmatic. He is Andrew Wilson's contract writer, and the guy that handles the contract, all the contracts for debates and for Andrew Wilson. He's the one that handled the contract for the debate with Candace Owens. This guy, the night after the debate, and he was there with Andrew Wilson, and they went out and got completely hammered. There's photos of Andrew Wilson drinking, but then this guy shows up on an X Space that night with Paramount Tactical, and he admits that he's so drunk and he's just like cussing and slurring and like saying like the worst things. These are the people on their side. I don't know. None of these people would ever have been friends with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk would never have associated with him. He would have maybe tried to spread the gospel to them, tell them, like, Charlie told all of the people that he could, like, you should stop drinking, you should stop doing drugs, you should stop playing video games, you should eat healthy, you should exercise, you should go to church, you should pursue marriage, pursue higher things, try to perfect yourself, and be the best version of yourself that you can be, which none of these people are. None of them, right? And these are the people that Andrew Colvett says, I like these guys. I like the way you do business. It's how I do business. Let's do business together. And Erica Kirk is like, yeah, it's a match made in heaven. We're all on the same page. Let's all do it together. It's nuts. Right? And then you got these chicks, and they just went on the show the other day with Andrew Colvett. Mark Meckler threw his hat in the ring. And then there's this one that just came out with Jeremy Boring and this crazy chick.
Satan is the accuser. And the fact that this moment that we find ourselves in now is one which all the Gnostics are accusing innocent people of being guilty. You know, whether you ascribe to the ultimate truth of the Bible or not, even if you don't, you would have to acknowledge this is like wisdom literature. These are our oldest stories that help us understand our place in the world. You would, if you take a very Peterson-esque approach to the scripture, you would still have to say, well, why do they say Satan is the accuser? And how should that make me feel about the fact that it is so common in our culture today that people just accuse innocent people of horrible, horrible crimes?
They're talking about Candace Owens, all of them. That's all their shows are about these days. All of them. They're all talking about Candace Owens. Even when they're not talking about Candace Owens, they're talking about Candace Owens. When they're talking about the Clancy case, when they're talking about the leftists, when they're playing Spencer Pratt, like all of it. It all leads back to Candace Owens and her case against TPUSA and against, in defense of Tyler Robinson, the case against him. That's what it all is about. Everything else is a smokescreen. Everything is a proxy. That is the real argument, the real fight, the real debate. Everything's our meta arguments, meta debates. They're all proxies for that. It couldn't be more obvious. They all are threatened. They all, it's like Candace Owens versus 50 of these people. Candace Owens hasn't gone out and employed. She hasn't started a media company and start to get people to come on her team. Baron Coleman did his thing on his own. He was doing his thing anyway. Same with Coach Collins. Same with Zach Costello. Yes, they've spoken here and there. They've been on one another's shows, but there's no there's no concerted effort working together to this bigger plan. It's insane. Jeremy Boring is such a moron.
This is a really, really bad thing that we're doing. This is obviously so bad that we actually identify evil itself. We personify evil itself in the character who bears the name of the accuser.
And not only accused, mocked and harassed viciously, virally.
Yeah.
What's happened with Erica Kirk is one of the darkest things I've ever seen.
Truly.
I'm never gonna. It's never gonna be normal to me. I log on. I can't believe women say these things and write these things and post them and then publicly.
Well, when I say it's spiritual, Candace Owens quite literally said this week, "We are legion."
Saw that.
Which, you can't make up. She's quoting the demons of the New Testament.
It's so insane, you guys. Okay, there's a clip. I remember hearing it. It's clearly not what she meant, dude. These people run with anything. And it's yes, people say things on accident when they're live. Yep. They misspeak, they mispronounce words. They actually say the wrong person's name. I've done it before. It's what happens when you don't edit things like Andrew Wilson. If she truly was nervous about what she said and it had a nefarious aspect to it, why didn't her team edit it after the fact? Because it's not what she meant. But all these people run with any little thing that like same thing about Baron Coleman. That's not what Baron Coleman meant. You can go watch his whole video in the full context. He was not trashing Charlie Kirk. He was attacking them for insinuating that Charlie would lie publicly and hold positions privately about his friends and lied to the public about that. That's what Baron was pointing out. That's what they're insinuating at TPUSA. So these people are insane, man.
This is a direct verbatim quote from scripture.
Well, and I was going to say, I also think that, you know, all of this conspiracy stuff, whether it be Candace or this, like, I don't know that this necessarily would be the environment that this could happen. It had 2020 not happened, because the reason that people are so willing to believe conspiracy is because there was real conspiracy. Because we were lied to by the media and by the government and by everyone around us. And like, I remember being like, oh, I don't know what's true, what's not true. And so, you know, people have taken this to the extreme to where they question every single thing now. And I think the right answer to that is, yes, we need to ask a lot more questions. We need to be a lot more discerning, but
not here. We'll tell you, the select few of us, will tell you which things you are justified in questioning and which ones you're not. We'll inform you. We, the chosen few up here that are on the side of God, on the side of truth, on the side of sanity, we are now positioning ourselves as the arbiters to tell all of you right from wrong, good from bad, good from evil. This, you had every right to question. This, you should not question. This, oh, it's okay to question. That one's okay to question. That's how they're positioning themselves. And anyone else that doesn't believe and hold that they do, oh, they're evil, they're conspiracy theorists, their father is Satan.
People are not stopping there. They're not having a boundary on it, and it's going way too far. But at the same time, I can understand how they got there, having been lied to for years. That we're all seeing this come out now with Fauci and everything. But it's like a wound that they have.
As if COVID is the only time they lied to us. As if COVID is the first and the last time that they ran a government level psyop, misinformation, complete like lie on all of us. 9/11, like literally just there's like, I can't even count. Like, no, forever since Bernays, the father of propaganda, like created it for Germany and realized the power of propaganda. And that was the father of PR. Okay. So, nope, it's not just because of COVID. It had already started, but COVID kind of like was the bigger, most recent one. But it's if they're saying like, oh, but since COVID though, oh, there's no psyops, there's no lying, none of that's happening anymore. You're good. You can come out of the tinfoil hat craziness, skepticism. You're good. You had every right to be. But now this administration doesn't lie. All of this with Tyler Robinson's on the up and up, the war in Iran and Israel, you can put your tinfoil hats away. We're good now. We fixed it. None of it was fixed. Remember, Charlie was like, Trump and JD are going to get in there and root out all the corruption out of the intel agencies and all the different departments in this in government. We got to drain the swamp, not just the political swamp, but all the different arms of the government that have gotten too big and have reached its tentacles too far. And then his whole administration got taken over by crazy neocons, the never Trumpers. And Trump totally flipped the script and became the thing he swore he wasn't. So it's not just because of COVID. It's because this presidency is confirming that it's happening now. Right now, all of that is happening right now. And it's still happening, and it's happening with all of it across the board. Not because we're crazy conspiracy theorists that are just overly paranoid. It's because it is happening still. We're still being lied to. Okay. Now we can look at this. So one of the things that happened most recently was Alex Jones had on Viva Frey and ended up doing like a massive hit piece on Candace Owens. And then Brandon Straka and Harrison Smith did the same thing. Why are like all of these people being anointed and all at the same time going out and attacking Candace Owens? Is it because her stance on Israel is the biggest thing that's an issue? Because even her questions about TPUSA and about Charlie Kirk are really about Israel, Israel's involvement in TPUSA, Israel's involvement in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Really, Candace Owens' enemy number one is Israel. That's the problem. And all of these people that continually hate her and do hit pieces on her, they all love and support Israel. That's the real issue. Notice that. Everything is being weaponized and thrown and directed at Candace Owens because of her stances on Israel. Charlie was beginning to hold these positions publicly. He was holding them privately already. Text messages show that. This is the number one and biggest issue we're facing. It is my opinion that that's why Charlie was taken out, because of this. So here you go. Viva Frey, Alex Jones.
Israel. Okay. This is really, really evil. All right. Viva Frey, I apologize. We had technical issues. I'm going to play these two short clips, then come back to you. And all churches have been blown up. There's none left. They've cut off the electricity. They drive through like road warrior and firebomb them at night. And finally, Huckabee has called it horrific terrorism.
Yes.
And you notice who's running it. It's Smotrich, who said this war is ideal. America's fighting our enemy. And this is going to bankrupt Iran. And we don't care about everybody else because the U.S. is the modern Rome and that we'll get them next. And I already played clips of that yesterday. I mean, these are not nice people running Israel. Okay. This is really, really evil. All right, Viva Frey, I apologize. We had technical issues. I'm going to play these two short clips, then come back to you, and we're going to have this discussion, debate.
He talks for a while, and then he plays long clips, like, about Candace Owens, like, just really long. Like, look how long it is. This whole thing, and it's not a hit piece on Candace Owens. Look at Viva Frey's smile. I'm not going to play all this. Like, it goes from, I don't know, 39:57. He's talking about her. Then he plays it all the way to 52, just on Candace Owens clips.
Opinion may not be right. I've looked at stuff that I think is correct, covered it. So this is a big whodunit. TPUSA saying Charlie thinks Israel's going to kill him a month before he died. We published that. I'm not saying Israel did it. I'm just saying we've been covering whatever's real meat and potatoes. And now the footage that they said showed, pretrial stuff, him clearly shooting him. It's not clear. It adds a lot more questions than not. And then they're like, oh, see, it shows the shooter, but it's not him. Well, now they're away from the exploding microphone. And they say, no, it is a exploding microphone. So I'm going to shut up. Viva Frey's been holding a while to get on here. So I'm trying to give him like 10 minutes.
So I don't know. I don't know. So he, in one hand, will say some true things and hold some positions that a lot of us hold, but then not. Then he walks it back. And then his team is the team that cut all those clips of Candace Owens. That wasn't presented by Viva Frey. That was him. And then he holds Viva Frey on his show, and it's all about Candace Owens. That's what this whole thing's about. And I'm not going to play the whole thing. If you guys want to watch it, you can
open up with what he saw. Any angles he wants to go to, any clips he wants. I'm sure he sent the crew. I told him to do that, so he may have done that. I've got a bunch of more clips here, but I think at the end of the day, there's a loss of trust in the system, and this thing is a disaster. You didn't have a grand jury indict. I think it's the only state that can do this, where the prosecutors did it. Viva's the lawyer; he can correct me, but this is really unprecedented. And then the Chat GPT confession that is to me looks fake. And then just everything changing and just on and on. And George Zinn jumping up a second later. I did it. So quote the sugar and get away. And then a bunch of other people turn around. Clearly the shot did come from, not up close, but off. And they're like, yay. Like they knew the 10 posts and 3 days before he'll be dead tomorrow. And then that day, see, we told you. And then Cash Patel was told by TPUSA High Level, said, we're not looking at that. We know they were involved. We can't prove it, so we're not going there. Well, if you have his support network, that's even more proof. And then they said, oh, well, he's confessed and all this. And then I've talked to some of the family and heard recordings and done other things. And they say they're scared and can't talk, but what you're being told isn't true. So I don't.
Oh my gosh, he talks so long. Are you going to let Viva Fry talk? Here we go.
Later because it's a 3-hour drive. And then she has to concede in that debate that they never tied the receipt at the steakhouse to Tyler Robinson after having publicly come out and said, hey, when I asked her, do you have the receipt? Can you publish the unredacted receipt? To which she says, stay tuned. And then in the debate yesterday says, oh no, the stay tuned was only so that the journalist who was reporting it, she doesn't name his name, but she throws him under the bus. It's his story to follow up on as if it's his fault when this thing doesn't pan out. But the point.
Not true. Not true. And all she said was stay tuned on the receipt. There's more there. Yes, the receipt at the time had not been 100% tied to Tyler Robinson as it to mean that she hadn't personally. She wasn't the one that got the story. Okay. She's reporting on the story at the point in which it was brought to her, but that, it's not for her to call the merchant for the receipt. Okay. But she said, stay tuned, more to come out about that. But the fact that they're all freaking out about it says a lot, I think, about the Penguich receipt and about how scared they are about this and that the FBI never looked into it. He goes on and on and on. This whole thing is just him attacking Candace. It's just, all the different things. Oh, they're going to make fun of the roof video. I don't know what that was. I'm not going to play that. Yeah, I'm not going to play this whole thing. I watched it, but it's Viva Fry and Alex Jones. It's like, yeah, I used to like Alex Jones too. But I don't know. He turned on Candace a while ago, but then kind of walked it back. I don't know what to do with Alex. I heard the same thing about his part of his settlement being wiped away. I don't know, a couple $100 million being taken off his $1 billion settlement. Yeah. I mean, I've heard many stories that he has connections to the CIA and most likely is some sort of controlled opposition and is some sort of informant or asset. He holds enough. He's allowed to hold enough positions that resonate with the public that allow him to appear to some as still being Alex Jones by himself. But yet then in other moments is carrying water and holding water for a lot of the official narrative. And I don't know. I lost respect for him. I stopped listening to him a while ago. But anyways, that's a whole hit piece on Candace Owens. I'm not playing Viva Fry. Okay. But I just wanted to show it to you guys. These are all the different things that are all happening simultaneously in the last week. Then you have Brandon Straka and Harrison Smith, who's also part of, the War Room Live. This is part of InfoWars. This is part of Alex Jones's show, Real Alex Jones. It's the same thing. And then they start talking about Candace Owens.
This whole thing has become a circus to me. I think the whole thing's ridiculous. What's your prediction? What are your thoughts on the upcoming, storied Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens? Will this finally solve things once and for all? I'm sure.
No, of course. But it didn't solve things. I think it showed that their official positions that Tyler Robinson is the lone gunman, that position can't be defended. All they're able to do is continually point to all of the 1102 hearsay evidence presented thus far, and then just say the words overwhelming, avalanche, mountain of evidence. They just keep parroting the same thing. And you saw it yesterday in the debate. He couldn't actually honestly defend his positions. It was my first debate publicly. I was trying to be more gracious. I don't know, man. I think looking back, I mean, I'm harder on myself than most people. I think everyone's their hardest critic. I wanted to push back so much harder. Yeah, I think it would have gone nowhere. He would have defended the fact that he could say he sees a gun and see recoil when all of us have seen all the same things. We know that you can't see that. Is I think it says everything you know about all the people that continually say the same thing. Oh, yes, we do see a gun. Yes, we do see recoil. Okay. Oh, yes, I can tell that that's Tyler Robinson. Okay. Whatever. The other thing about this kid is we know that there were limited seats available to the public. He was there all 5 days. And I've spoken to people who actually slept on the ground outside and didn't make it in every day. He wasn't there. So it's my opinion, the only way he could have been there all 5 days and without having to wait outside on the ground and sleep out the night before on the pavement is if he was invited to be there. And he wasn't invited to be there by Tyler Robinson and his family because he does not defend that position at all. It's my opinion that he was invited to be there by Erica Kirk and someone affiliated with her that got it passed and approved by her. And he said it himself, like he's friends with and associated with. I mean, too many connections that he can't even be objective. Yeah. But this whole Brandon Straka thing. So I watch it too. If you guys want to watch it, you can.
I'm only presenting it for different reasons, actually.
Okay.
And by the way,
this is a speculation that Candace Owens and Erica Kirk are working together. He just completely makes up a story.
Like their profile raised tremendously, and they raised a ton of money off of her. And my belief.
Yeah, so I forgot it was that long. He's putting forth that Erica Kirk and Candace Owens are working together.
Concerned about right now, in my opinion.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Sorry, and I don't mean to cut
please.
you off. I just like the problem. You're right. You're 100% right with what you just said. But the problem is the distraction is not Candace, and the distraction is not Turning Point, and the distraction is not Andrew. People can't be distracted unless they want to be distracted.
Right.
And so I'm making this point because, you know, even if you took.
Is Brandon Straka gay? Just an honest question. Is Brandon Straka a gay dude? I mean, he kind of definitely gives me that vibe. Earlier he said he was a raging liberal and then converted. I didn't know that you can convert to a political party, but I don't know. I don't know where all these guys come from. And they all are like the same, like Benny Johnson, Jack Posobiec, Tyler Boyer. What's up with all these guys? Someone said probably. He sounds gay. Yeah. You're going to have 39,000 soon, Matt. You're a natural at this. Brenda Gwynn. Oh, thank you. What made you say that? Did someone just check where I'm at? Where am I at? I don't really look at it that often. What is it at? Oh, 34,476. Well, that's not thanks. I mean, I guess I think it's more thanks to all of you guys. If I didn't have anything valuable to say, I don't know, you guys wouldn't like it. So it's a team effort. Clearly, I think I'm doing something right, but also you guys are finding value in this community and this channel and the work that I do. So really, though, if people didn't like and subscribe and watch, I would just be talking to myself each day. So I think it's a team effort. We're growing the channel together. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. So, oh, you've been sharing my channel, Alex Gut Mittens. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, the other thing I was just going to show is that you just go to these guys' X pages and it doesn't take long. You go through and it's, Andrew and Blake. Well, Blake a lot more. Wow, these guys post a lot. Oh, I got to be careful scrolling through X actually without knowing what's on there. I haven't seen what he posted, but I was going to scroll down to a part where the majority of these. So yeah, they're pushing Hassan Piker and Candace are the same. And, oh, Candace loves Clancy and Candace and Hassan are on the same side. And Candace wasn't Charlie Kirk's friend. And what's this one? They assassinated Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. 1 year later, we're going back. Oh, let's listen to this. I haven't seen this one. Yeah, I know they're going back, but I hadn't seen this post. Let's see what their disgusting thought process is for going back.
We want to play this video. We are going to honor Charlie Kirk, making an announcement right now. Honor Charlie with a deliberate act of remembrance on September 10th at UVU. Play cut 19.
I want to honor God in all that I do. I want to be a great husband, a great father. I want to serve this country.
We honor Charlie. Now it is up to us for Christ, for country.
Charlie Kirk is in heaven because his Savior.
Wait, is this might be a promotional video of theirs that I can't play the video and the music to.
My faith in my life.
Turning Point USA will hold the Freedom Built to Last Memorial on September 10th, 2026 at UCCU Center on the campus of Utah Valley University, marking 1 year since we lost Charlie. The gathering will honor Charlie as a faith-filled husband, father, and defender of free speech with a memorial that serves, as I said, as a deliberate act of remembrance and a call for students and supporters to continue his life's work. And by the way, this event is going to punctuate an entire week of commemoration. Simultaneously, TPUSA Faith is leading a nationwide initiative inviting Christians of every denomination and tradition to honor Charlie's mission to make heaven crowded by inviting a friend or family member to church beginning on September 13th and throughout the month of September. I'll always be doing that, by the way.
Yeah, always be doing that, by the way, not just on September. Not just during September. Also, make sure to not check the FAR filing. Don't make sure your church is not on the FAR filing, because if you bring your phone and you bring a friend and they bring their phone, watch out. The Foreign Ministry of Israel, Superfeed Technologies, is going to be watching you. I don't know. All of their attempts to get people into their events is all a ploy, in my opinion, is to get people's phones in these areas to be tracked and tagged and cached and fenced and blah, 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 to get fed pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian propaganda. Now, Judeo-Christian values, you gotta brainwash everyone to support Bibi in Israel, because Charlie was against it. Charlie said no to that. Charlie's gone. Now it's like, here we are. FedSlop ads on their phones. Yep. Yeah. It's unreal.
Yeah, and you can RSVP at charliekirklegacy.com. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but you have to put your phone number in. That's the thing. You have to put your phone number in. It doesn't let you not put your phone number in. Like, I'm going to give you guys my phone number. I want to go to the event and I want to RSVP, but I need to buy a burner phone. I think that's what I need to do. Because you have to put your phone number in.
Legacy.com. So we've got Glenn Beck is going to be there, Frank Turek, Andrew Cipher, who is our chief field officer at TPUSA, and Caleb Chilcutt, who is the chapter president of our Turning Point chapter there when Charlie was assassinated. Now he's our Utah representative for the college department there. So Caleb's amazing. So great list of speakers that are going to honor Charlie in what I think is going to be a really beautiful event. And like I said, a deliberate act of remembering Charlie and his amazing life and his amazing contribution. And again, Save a Seat for Charlie is this whole initiative to remind you of the importance of inviting people to church with you. Just, it's a simple act, but hey, you want to come on Sunday? We're going, we'll save a seat for you. And it's, you know, Charlie's seat continues and will continue to be filled by a whole new generation of faith-filled believers. So we want to invite you to be a part of that. Can you throw the RSVP graphic up one more time, guys? So charliekirklegacy.com. Please RSVP.
Oh, I can't stand listening to all their BS. It's nuts. Let me pull this off though as I scroll down. But just, I mean, my point in showing is it's like, yeah, here. So Blake Neff is attacking Baron Coleman because Candace is not doing a show this week. So he's got to attack Baron Coleman through one of his shills, Britta. And then here we also don't need the texts because Charlie literally talked about the danger of the violent left on video on Bill Maher. The amount of evidence doesn't matter, though, because Candace and the rest are not operating in good faith. And as a result, evidence is irrelevant to what they say. Okay, Blakey Poo. Thank you for the gift, Natalie. Let's see. Hold up. Yeah, okay. If you guys have, I missed a couple. I missed that one. Thank you for the gift. If anyone else has any super chats they want to get in, any questions, any comments, now is the time. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me pull something up. I'm pulling it up. It's thinking. Come on, bro. There we go. All right, where was the one? Hold on. I'm trying to find. Where was it? Was it back? How far back was it? The archive, remember, no. I wish this channel or this website would remember the videos I click on. Charlie and Allie Beth Stuckey, Freedom Night. Nope. Allie Beth is one of the most effective voices in the public square, touting genuine Christian orthodoxy. No, she's not. Oh my gosh. Hold on, I'm trying to find the video. Andy, nope. I'll find it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on, it's just gonna take me a second because it doesn't let you. It doesn't let you preview it. So I have to read from the archives, Charlie's why from the CLS 2018. Why should be fighting? No, that's not it. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Nope. All right, I need to go back much further. I think it's like all the way back in like February, March. I'm almost there. But I also don't want to pass it by going too fast. Andy Biggs, Nick Shirley, Iran civilian. No. Sorry, y'all. Hopefully you guys Oh my goodness. Man, I should have had that pulled up. I thought I had it on my tab. Not, oh, it's past the Yogurt Heroes one. License. All right, I'm almost there. It's such a bad way this this website is set up, the way it categorizes and shows you what videos are available, because you can only go by one. Hopefully you guys aren't super mad at me right now. Oh my gosh, there was this one video and it was going to be a bunch of never before seen videos of Charlie, and they put it together as like a montage on the Super Bowl. I don't know. Holy smokes. I'll have to pull it up another time, because the way that this is categorized is just so annoying. America as a Christian nation. Nope. Yeah. I just feel bad that you guys are just staring at me. Look at all this. And yeah, I can't find it right now. So my bad. And I lost like a bunch of you while I was doing that. Let's see. Thank you so much for the gift, Janice. And thank you so much, Suede. I can't find it. I don't have another one pulled up. So that's going to do it for tonight, you guys. If you haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe. Please, after the video posts, please go over and write a comment, throw an emoji in, and hype the video for free. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. Without further ado, if that is everything, as long as there's nothing else anyone has before we go, God bless you guys. Love you guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. Not sure what time, but as long as Baron goes earlier, I can go earlier. But I'll have to see based on what time he ends up doing his live. So stay tuned for the thumbnail and the link. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Bye.